following is a special presentation of TNN Sports. Since the early 1960s, the sleepy town of Knoxville, Iowa has been known as the sprint car racing capital of the world. And during our many visits over that time, we have seen dozens of examples of just how deeply this grassroots motorsport is embedded in this town's identity. It's hard to imagine that a village of only slightly more than 8,000 swells to 5 times that number as sprint car fans arrive for the greatest show on dirt, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. It's like Woodstock with wings and wheels. This weekend marks the 40th running of the most prestigious sprint car race in the world. And you've got a front row seat for everything that makes the Amoco Knoxville Nationals one of the most unique events in motorsports. This is a scene reminiscent of the 4th of July in a small Midwestern town. But actually, it's the annual Knoxville Parade in honor of the final day of the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville National Sprint Car Races. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Evans, and I love a parade. If there's 76 trombones or just one, I will sit down and watch it. And we hope you sit down and watch our show for the next 3 hours. This is our pre-race program, and it comes to you from kind of a fan perspective, what to see and do in Knoxville. Plus, we've got highlights, terrific highlights of the last 3 days of action, and we'll look back at some memorable Knoxville Nationals of the past. But right now, let's get cooking. Let's go out to the racetrack with Ralph Shaheen and Brad Doty. I love clowns.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Boy, are we ready for the greatest night of sprint car racing of the entire season. And you know, this little Norman Rockwell town come to life, known as Knoxville, Iowa, is really one of the most unique places you'll find anywhere. From the pork sandwiches you get from the Marion County Pork Producers Association to the homemade ice cream at the Rotary Club to 170 of the best sprint cars in the world racing in front of 40,000 really enthusiastic fans. This is really something else. And the reason they come, this picture-perfect half-mile of black dirt. Let's show you the track description of this facility here at the Marion County Fairgrounds. And Brad, it really is the fastest half-mile going here.
Well, it is, and it's the black gumbo clay, so when it gets slicked off, boy, these guys slip and slide all over the place and put on some great racing, and it's nice and wide, too.
It really is a wild racetrack, and some of the biggest names in open-wheel racing have found their way to Victory Lane. Some of them a handful of times. Only one man truly earned the nickname of the king in sprint car racing. Steve Kinzer, 11 times he has visited Victory Lane here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. So that's what we have in store for you here tonight, one of the wildest nights of racing of the year. Let's get the perspective on tonight from Dave Argerbright and Bobby Gerald.
For 39 years, the Knoxville Nationals has been pretty much the same thing. Lots of hoopla, lots of hype, lots of people, lots of excitement. What it's really been about is to get your name on a list. That list right there, the most important list perhaps in all of sprint car racing, a list of the winners of the Knoxville Nationals. But it is exceptionally tough to get on that list. In fact, over the years, in recent years, we found it very difficult for first-time winners to break that circle. This year may be the same thing. You've still got the big four. You got Steve Kinzer, you got Mark Kinzer, you've got Danny Lasowski, and never count out Sammy Swindell. We're setting the stage for what may be a breakthrough this year, though. The young guys, the new guys, the first-time winners are knocking on the door. This may be the year that they get it done.
Obviously, this race is something special. Now in its 40th year, the Amoco Knoxville Nationals have produced 20 different winners. 20 different winners is not a real large amount for a race that has been going on for 40 years. It's so difficult because of the number of competitors here. That's the number one reason. 128 different teams took time trials here this weekend. Secondly, to win here at the Knoxville Nationals, you have to have superior horsepower. The engine has to be hitting, and you have to have your chassis set up right on the money. But I think most importantly, it comes down to the driver here at the Knoxville Nationals. The winning driver of the Saturday night A-main event is going to be an experienced driver who's comfortable running 1 or 2 inches off the wall or finding that sweet spot down on the low groove. Now, to put this all in perspective, Michael Jordan, who many consider the greatest athlete of all time, led the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships. Consider this: Steve Kinzer, in a 20-year period from 1980 to 1999, won 11 Knoxville Nationals championships. And in the NBA, there's 29 teams. Here, there's over 100.
Knoxville, Iowa is such a lovely town, and certainly farming is its lifeblood, but its soul is sprint car racing, and you feel it everywhere. The flags are flying, posters in the barbershop, that's all they can talk about, who's going to win the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. And understand that the racetrack is not outside of Knoxville. It's about 6 blocks from where I am in the town square. And they don't just race this one weekend of the year. This track is active with sprint cars every Saturday night, mid-April through mid-October. All in all, it's not only a tremendous revenue generator, it's almost a spiritual thing in this town. We'll be back with more of our pre-race show. Stay with us here on TNN.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
He was all wrong for you. That guy was a freak.
Hi, do you have any mozzarella?
Sorry, we're all out.
Give me a pound of mozzarella.
How about some nice provolone?
Where's all the mozzarella? Well, Dave Thomas put it on Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme.
No, we're all out of mozzarella.
2 slices of mozzarella, a plump, juicy whole chicken breast fillet topped with a delicious Parmesan sauce. It's a mouth-watering combination.
Dave, Frankie's coming. Dave?
Come in and try Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme today. And remember, Wendy's pickup windows open late, so you can eat great.
Thanks for stopping.
Even late.
33 years, over 700 billion starts, and now Die Hard is stopping. Car thieves. Introducing the Die Hard Security Battery. To learn more, call us or come see it at Sears.
This I call the young family special. It's reliable, it's practical, but with a little edge. This car says family.
There's only one seat.
Keeps the family close.
NHRA Winston Drag Racing on TNN.
We are back in Iowa where the countdown continues to the 40th anniversary of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Here in the Media Center, a lot of these laptops pounding out information you'll find in the press worldwide. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws, by the way, has a new official home on the internet, Outlaws.com. This free website is dedicated to giving sprint car fans the latest info on the greatest show on dirt. Outlaws.com offers you complete results from each race, the latest news, feature articles, and vital information on your favorite racers. The Outlaws are fast-paced as they crisscross the country, but they're not faster than the internet. And you can keep up to date on all their wild action at Outlaws.com. It's your online all-access pit pass to stay current with the premier sprint car series worldwide. And I'll tell you what, there was some premier action here Wednesday night. Enjoy.
The 2000 Amoco Knoxville Nationals started like this. 4 cars involved. Travis Rylett and Kurt Winker in heat number 1 got the worst of it. Everybody was okay. Donnie Schatz had it hooked up right from the green flag. There he is passing the fast qualifier Dean Jacobs and then making a move on Bob Burkle. The slide job works, and Donnie Schatz was the winner of heat race number 1. The second heat race belonged to Tim Kading. The 1998 Chico, California champion held off Andy Hillenberg all the way. In heat race number 3, local John Egan led from the start but was smoking. Steve Kinzer in the number 11 car charges up through to second. Sammy Swindell mired mid-pack at the halfway point, but when John Egan blew up, Steve Kinzer took over command, and that set up Sammy Swindell running Brad Furr out of racetrack on the last lap to take the final transfer. In the 4th heat, Upper Cove, Maryland's Jeff Shepard on the inside, and the 4J dominated. The cars were getting such a bite on the racetrack that Dale Blaney in the 93 was popping wheelies on the back straightaway, but he did transfer. In the 5th heat, more spotlight for the locals as Jeff Matrician gets the win. Skip Jackson spent the year racing in Pennsylvania, but returned to Knoxville to win the C main. In the B main, it was California's Randy Hannigan blasting his way around the half mile to a convincing win that would set him up for the A feature run. Lap number 1, down the back chute into turn number 3, Tim Schaefer gets sideways. Manny Rockhold reacts, gets a piece of the wall and a piece of Jason Statler's wing. This was a great feature event, dicing between the two champions, Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell. They go into 3, Steve gets loose, and Sammy gets by him. Meanwhile, Dale Blaney out in front in the 93, but not for long. The King tracks him down and goes on to win the preliminary night feature.
Steve Kinzer struggled in his qualifying run on Wednesday night, forced him to have a perfect night the rest of the way. Steve, in the heat race, you were behind a smoking car. Was there any concern about being caught up in something?
No, once I got into second, I was pretty well watching the car, and I knew that he was either blowing small or, going to lose the motor. So I gave herself enough room, and then we went to get by him. Everything was clear.
You started deep in the pack in that feature event. Did you feel additional pressure that you had to move forward?
Well, I felt like I was going to move forward. It's just a matter of how far. I didn't know. But the last 2 times we've been here, we've been working hard on getting a setup for the Nationals and felt like that we had something for them. So it was real disappointing to everybody when I qualified so terrible. But everybody rallied and made a good comeback, and that's about all I can say.
When you've won this from 14th, what do you have to do to win it from that far deep into the pack?
Well, it'd be nice if it was 40 laps, but that's not the case. We got 30 laps to work with, and we'll probably have to have a few breaks to have a chance to win it. But we got a pretty fast race car. The bad thing is we got some fast race cars stepping on the front. That's going to put a lot of ground in between me and the leaders, and that's what's going to be tough.
Did the win in your qualifying feature help your confidence?
Well, it come back to repeat to show us that what we'd been doing and what we thought was working right did repeat itself. So we'll just have to wait and see.
There's the Quaker State number 11 of the King of the Outlaws, Steve Kinzer. Let's take a look at the Wednesday night points as we get set to go racing here tonight. Here is the Wednesday point board. And Brad, tell me about qualifying and the importance of that on these point standings.
All these drivers, Ralph, will tell you they don't like this format, probably never will. It's too much emphasis on qualifying. Steve Kinzer dominates and wins the main event, but he's back there in the middle of the field because he qualified bad, and it's too critical for the qualifying laps to get out there, and it's a lot of pressure on these guys to make 2 perfect laps.
Donnie Schatz ends up the top point getter on Wednesday. How about Thursday? Let's find out from Bobby Gerald, has a look at Thursday night action.
Thursday night, Mark Kinzer starts out the night as the fastest qualifier, but in heat race number 1 and turn number 2, he spins out. Mark had to go to the rear of the field, and after repairs, he and Stevie Smith fought valiantly, but neither one of those drivers transferred to the feature event. It was local Ryan Jamison in car number 51J that led all the way for the heat race win. Next up, Darren Pittman in number 3 and Craig Hodnett in the V12 battling. Look at Hodnett get a piece of the wall on the front chute. The 86X of J.R. Patton led all the way, and despite a couple of close calls with the fence, was able to hang on for the win over Randy Anderson, the 47, and Danny Smith. In the 3rd heat, Australia's Kerry Madsen in the number 1S, giving it a little international flair, leading all the way. Jimmy Carr, former crew chief for Danny Lasowski, now in Brooke Tatnall's ride. He, too, getting a piece of the wall. Couple of Pennzoil World of Outlaws regulars, Joey Saldana and Danny Wood, battling for 2nd and 3rd, and that's how they finished. Heat race number 4, lots of Chargers in this one. Danny Lasowski, Craig Delansky, and Paul McMahon. But check out Delansky. On the original start, he's way behind, so he pulls to a stop, forcing a yellow flag. That allowed him to join up closer with the rest of the field. On the restart, Paul McMahon leads, and Danny Lasowski tried to track him down. And then Craig Delansky, making his way up through the field in the Polydome number 7, was able to put a move on Keith Kaufman and get that all-important final transfer into the feature. Larry Neighbors of Oklahoma walked away with the win. The final heat race of the weekend saw Steve Ginnington and number 86 and Kelly Kinzer get together right at the start. But that didn't faze Kinzer, who is now driving the Peterbilt of Ohio number 7X, who was able to drive by the 7S and get the win. The former Marine, Rocky Hodges, is back in Junior Holbrook's beautiful black number 18. He won the C main. Mark Kinzer, as we mentioned, was in the B main along with Stevie Smith. Mark won it. Stevie didn't transfer. Feature time. Paul McMahon starting up front. He was the early leader, but once they got into traffic, Craig Delansky was able to put the slide job on McMahon and pull away. The number 5M of Mark Kinzer came from the back of the pack and ended up finishing 5th. Craig Delansky, working that high groove all the way around the racetrack, went on to score the Thursday night victory.
Well, now, as you take a look at the Thursday night points, you know, Brad, you said the drivers don't like the way the points are scored, but as fans, it's not such a bad deal because you get to see some big-name guys buried in the back because they bobbled somewhere. You got to score points at all times.
Well, that qualifying, you get the same amount of points for fast time as you do for winning the main event. So, again, if you qualify a little bad, it puts you way back there. But if you want fast time, so you get those points, but then getting fast time, it puts you to the rear of the heat races. Then you got to pass all those guys in front of you to gain more points. It's tough on these guys.
Let me tell you, watching a big name like Kinzer come from the back, that's cool as a fan. Something only you'll find in Knoxville, Steve Evans found here.
You want to try something really bizarre on your trip to the Amoco Knoxville Nationals? Well, for $5 and just 5 miles south of the racetrack, you'll find the first ever corn maze. Dan and Jenna Dennison have dedicated 18 acres of their corn farm to, well, let's take a look at it from an aerial shot. A perfectly defined sprint car. Can you believe it? On track in Knoxville, it says. Look at the headers, the wheels, everything's so well defined and surrounded by a map of the state of Iowa. Okay, I ponied up my $5, and this is it. Now, you can get a map if you want. I did. They said it really doesn't matter because no one's completed the maze yet since they built it. So, here we go. It's a little spooky. I'm entering at the left front wheel of the sprint car. Now, I'll tell you what, as I do this, we've got to take a break. But while we do, take a look at some history of the Knoxville Nationals. All the drivers that have led flag to flag over 40 years.
These are the hymns you remember and love. Songs of faith and inspiration. Heartland Music presents 101 Best Loved Hymns. Now you can have all your favorite hymns sung by the world's greatest choirs. This is my story. This is my song. 101 Best Loved Hymns on 3 CDs or 3 cassettes. You'll cherish these beautiful hymns forever. This music restores your spirit and renews your faith. So please call now to get the most beautiful hymns of all time.
To order, call 1-800-839-8844. That's 1-800-839-8844. Use your credit card or send check or money order for only $24.98 for 3 cassettes or $29.98 for 3 CDs, plus $4.95 shipping to 101 Hymns, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia.
ECW Wrestling in the Thrill Zone on TNN. Tommy Dreamer blisters Scotty Anton, defending ECW against the network. Steve Corino needs a little help from his friends to defeat Jerry Lynn. And Little Guido finds something that Mikey really doesn't like. Wrestling like you've never seen. ECW Wrestling, Friday at 8 Eastern, part of Thrill Zone Friday on TNN.
$1990, six-time Knoxville Nationals champion Steve Kinzer was a huge draw at the dunk tank. And that's his wife, Dana, there trying to put him down. I think she hit it. I think the crowd thought so, too. A little urging, and down goes the king. Time to get serious. Race time, the A-main, Steve Kinzer and Mark Kinzer both had perfect scores and shared the front row, and it was Mark that got the early jump. However, a 7th Knoxville win wasn't in the cards for Steve, who fell out and finished 24th. Mark was faring better. He was in the lead, but then suffered a blown motor as well, and look at the frustration. That set up a memorable shootout between Sammy Swindell up top and Bobby Allen down low. Sammy tried valiantly despite an oil leak that left him soaked from head to toe, but he couldn't catch Scruffy. The biggest upset in modern Nationals history.
Well, we all remember that fabulous night when Scruffy Bobby Allen pulled it off here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. I have never heard the crowd roar quite like that in all the years I've been coming here. And let me tell you what, there was some great action last night as well. Let's take a peek.
The headliner on Friday was the Kelly World Challenge Dash that paid $10,000 to the winner, and the winner was Danny Lasowski as the fireworks went off. The A Scramble, also a big race, $5,000 to win, a $19,500 purse, and at the start it was Brian Paulus getting the jump over Dale Blaney and leading him down the back straightaway. Sammy Swindell and others trying to work their way through the field. Craig Delansky up on the high side. Lap number 1 without a hitch. Dean Jacobs, Wednesday's quick timer spins out. That cost him. Sammy Swindell on the restart. His car was a little bit loose. He fell back and really struggled in the A Scramble. Donnie Schatz came into the event as the high point man, but when Jeff Shepard passed him, that cost him precious points, and no one could catch Brian Paulus. The A feature for the non-qualifiers was taken by the ageless wonder, Keith Kaufman of Pennsylvania.
Is this the kind of thing that you need when you've struggled early to get a win? Is that the one that snaps it?
Well, it's hard, you know. The competition is so tough, and there's so many good cars and drivers, and you know, anytime you can win anything, you know, it helps, and it's a good confidence factor. Builds your confidence, gets everybody pumped up, and we'll come back tomorrow night and try it again.
Well, the point total is what it's all about as we get set for the starting field for the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Coming up tonight, you'll see it here on TNN Sports Live. Let's show you the top 20 that are already locked in. Danny Lasowski will have the pole. He'll be on the inside. Donnie Schatz tied him in points, but he'll get the outside, Brad. And you can see some of the big names are going to be buried in the back. Some of the surprise names up high. Craig Delansky, 4th in the points.
Yeah, Craig Delansky's probably the fan favorite. Runs well here. Might be his first Nationals this year.
Great runs for Byron Reed and Kelly Kinzer, and Jack Haudenschild just sneaking in after having a lot of trouble, but he is already locked in. There's 4 more spots open for the 40th run of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Who will it be? With more on the Knoxville Nationals, here's Steve Evans.
A do not miss attraction when you visit here is outside of turn number 2 at the Marion County Fairgrounds, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. It is literally a time warp. Built in 1932, the Gerber Special, number 15. There's usually about 30 cars on display here, but the cars are just part of it. Some unbelievable memorabilia you won't find anywhere else, from helmets to trophies to art to paintings, you name it, and it's here. Really a cross-section of dirt track racing since it began really in the United States so many years ago. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk to the contemporary drivers, the favorites for tonight's Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
33 years, 186 million batteries, over 700 billion starts. And now, Die Hard is stopping. Car thieves. Introducing the Die Hard Security Battery, the only battery that attacks auto theft at the source. The power source. Die Hard Security. To learn more, call us or come see it at Sears. The good life at a great price, guaranteed.
The biggest news in motor oil since motor oil.
Let me show you something that really surprised me. Look what happened to the other leading motor oils after a 128-hour test designed to simulate severe driving conditions. But this is newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base after the same test. I'm no mechanic, but I know which one I'd rather put in my car. These, I don't even know what I'd do with these.
For protection so strong you can see the difference, get newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base.
Welcome back, everybody, to Knoxville, Iowa. Our pre-race show continues. One of the favorite pastimes of sprint car fans and sprint car television crews is eating. And here is a Steve Evans tip. Right across the street from the racetrack, behind some like souvenir tents, the Marion County pork producers. You won't get it any fresher than this. This is Marion County. Here's my little sampler. Got a butterfly pork chop there. Got the pork patty. Got the bratwurst. And I'm coming back from that with about 4 different sauces, and all of them are just magnificent. Everybody volunteers here. They got some corn in the cup. How's the chow, everybody? Yeah, told you so. Here's something else you'll like if you're a Sammy Swindell fan. How he's done over the years, right here.
Sammy Swindell arrived at the Knoxville Nationals as a 19-year-old rookie in 1975 and won in '83, but it's been mostly bad luck for Sammy here at Knoxville, such as 1990 when he was in contention when an oil leak clouded his visor, allowing Bobby Allen to slip by to steal the win. In 1997, he was leading when Mark Kinzer collided with him, damaging his car to the effect that even though he was able to restart, he would not be a contender for the Knoxville Nationals Championship. But perhaps the biggest heartbreak was 1998. He led on the white flag lap. Suddenly, fuel pickup problems. Danny Lasowski sweeps past. Oh, Amy Swindell can't even bear to watch. Sammy's hanging in there, hoping for second when Jack Haudenchild comes by on the outside and his car continues to falter. Deep disappointment to go from first to third after leading the white flag lap. Still, Sammy could smile and try to live through his frustration.
Well, the driver, the always most meticulously prepared cars in the pit area, driver of the Channel Lock #1, Sammy Swindell, joins me now. And let's take a look right now at the highlights from Wednesday night. That's when Sammy hit the racetrack here at Knoxville for the first time. Sammy, heat number 3, you were able to battle your way in to the transfer spot, but it took you a little while.
Yeah, we just got a real bad start, and some guys were running on the top to bottom. There wasn't any way to get through, and I had to wait for everybody to kind of get lined out. And it just took a long time to get there.
Then in the feature, you and your old nemesis, Steve Kinzer, went at it. Boy, this was the best race of the night between you and Steve there in the green car. Tell me about the on-track battle between the two of you.
Yeah, we just had a few laps there together, and he passed me, I passed him back. He passed me, and I passed him again, but he finally got by and got away.
Amazingly, you've only won this race one time. What is it about you in this facility that I would have expected Sammy Swindell to have had 9 victories already by now? How come?
Just a lot of things. You know, we've had some failures, been in some wrecks. You know, I've been up here one year, I broke my back. Just a lot of different odd things have happened and kept us out. We've been real close a lot of times, and there's been a few years we had the fastest car and didn't finish.
Well, maybe tonight in your 27th attempt here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, maybe Sammy will do it. And if he does, he'll do it on Goodyear tires. And so for the rest of the drivers on Goodyear tires, here's a little tip of the Knoxville Nationals Nuggets. If you're running some Goodyears, you might want to set them up just like this. We'll see if we can't find out from Sammy if that's the hot trick setup on those Goodyear air pressures in the next commercial break. Stay with us. We're coming right back to the Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
I like competition. I want to make it to the Olympics, fly higher than 6'10", get a higher education and learn more about life. See places my dad told me about. I want to show people that I can fix anything. Listen to a CD of my own music. Make my own decisions, make myself known, be a hero to someone.
You have plans. Let the Air Force help you get them off the ground.
I want to ride a motorcycle across the desert.
The same passion and dedication that drive our racing programs also drive the way we create parts for high-performance vehicles. And high-performing vehicles like yours. Mopar, great parts for great vehicles on the track and in your driveway. That's the Mopar difference.
Show me the money, I'm telling you. Oh boy.
It's the age-old test of man against beast. Don't miss championship bull riding from Charlotte. Sunday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN.
From my perspective, I've seen it all. The carelessness, the stupidity. Year after year, I've been forced to witness brutality, tragedy. It sickens me. Oh, I've been busted up, repaired, and busted up again. But that doesn't come close to what really tears me apart. It's the fact that I just gotta lie here and take it. You got a brain, use it. Drive smart.
Doug Grote. He owns Doug's Mr. Muffler. Doug's been working with exhaust, brakes, and shock repair for 25 years. Doug's Mr. Muffler uses only the finest materials available, including Walker exhaust systems manufactured right here in Nebraska. For years, proud owners have trusted Doug with their vehicles because, like you, Doug wants the best for your car. For professional exhaust, brakes, and shock repair, Doug's Mr. Muffler, just 4 blocks north of 27th and Cornhusker.
Perhaps the most well-remembered Knoxville Nationals took place in 1998. Now, Danny Lasowski's an adopted son here, a 7-time track champion and the winningest driver in the history of the Speedway. And in 1998, he went looking for the big prize. He, Sammy Swindell, and Jack Hodenschild battled early with Sammy Swindell out in front and Lasowski down low on his favorite groove in car number 83 running second. This continued throughout the race. Sammy up top, Lasowski down low. And it all came down to the very last lap. For $100,000, Sammy in front, and he misses the bottom in turn 1 and 2. That allows Lasowski to sneak down the back straightaway and go into turn number 3 with one more corner to negotiate for the biggest win of his career. Hodenschild actually got around Swindell for second, and the victory was the dude's. Lasowski signed autographs all night.
You can always, over the years, depend on the action at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. And you can again tonight, well, not very long, actually, live here on TNN. When you're exploring the Marion County Fairgrounds, look for a big livestock building. It says Reinhardt on it. And inside is kind of a trade show and high-end souvenirs. I mean, there's jewelry. As you see here, Indian-style jewelry. You can get yourself a fire suit, any color, any design you want, custom-made flame-proof shoes. And here is the Jim and Opal Cave from Australia, where sprint car racing is huge. And they are spotlighting their opal jewelry, and the girls are seriously enjoying it. She's about to turn a gold card tan. As I said, lots of safety equipment. There's chassis manufacturers near and driving schools. You can get a helmet, either plain or custom. For whatever you want, you'll find it in this Reinhardt barn. Right now, why don't we all take a look at the man who won this race just 2 years ago, Danny the Dude Lasowski.
Since 1983, Danny the Dude Lasowski has been a crowd favorite here at Knoxville, always in contention. In 1992, he got his best finish after 10 years of trying, second to Steve Kinser in Guy Forbrook's number 5. In 1994, he started third and finished third in the white 47, but his frustration was beginning to mount. He desperately wanted to win the Nationals in front of his hometown fans, even though he's actually from Dover, Missouri. He was third again in 1997 in the white number 1. But in 1998, it was the Dude's day of sweet glory. An emotional win in front of a cheering, roaring crowd. In 1999, he tried for 2 in a row, making a late race charge at Mark Kinser right at the finish that came up oh so short. The look on the dude's face will tell you it all.
Well, the driver who's claimed 7 track championships here and over 72 victories, Danny Lisowski, the driver of the Beef Packers 83, joins me now here high above the speedway. And, dude, let's take a look at the highlights from Thursday night's action where you went. And, you know, your buddies here at the racetrack have been nicknaming you the catfish for you being a bottom dweller. But this night and this week, you've been running all over the place from the middle to the top and on the bottom. There you are upstairs.
Looking good. Look at that. Almost heck out by the guy on the top. And here we go down to the bottom and slide that thing right back to the top. Looking good.
Why the top this week?
It just seemed like everybody's learned the bottom really good, so I got to go where they're not.
So on to the feature race here, and you're going to have to move around as much tonight?
Well, it looks like it. Last night we had to do the same thing. We had to move to the top a lot to get by guys.
And how tough is it to run that bottom?
It really is. You have to have a lot of patience. You have to be able to work both feet at the same time and not spin the wheels.
Working his way through the feature on Thursday night. A good battle with you and Paul McMahon.
Right. Paul did a great job.
So that's the situation for Danny on Thursday night. Let's talk a little bit about tonight. As you've raced as much on this racetrack as anybody else, how do you expect it to come in?
Well, if it's anything like last night at the end of the Australian Challenge, we had 3 grooves, really. We could run the bottom, middle, and the top. And I got that 83 car to work pretty good in the middle to the top. And who knows what we're going to get tonight. We've seen 3 different situations so far tonight, this weekend.
All right, well, maybe you can finally get that second victory, huh?
We're sure going to try.
All right, best of luck to Danny Lisowski, the driver of the Beef Packers 83. Wrenchhead.com with millions of brand name auto parts and accessories to choose from. It's easy to prove you're a wrench head. Are you a wrench head, dude? Wrenchhead.com, parts online all the time. Stay with us. We're coming back with a lot more from the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Time Life Video presents Presidential Bloopers. The funniest moments of the American presidency.
2 young men, attractive, able alcoholics, workaholics.
The president has to be very, very careful with his words.
Masayasu Okamura. Okamura. Oh, damn it.
We're very honored to be back in San Francisco. We're here for a great convention. San Diego, sure. Yeah.
We're trying to get unemployment to go up, and I think we're going to succeed.
What a waste it is to lose one's mind or not to have a mind is being very wasteful.
Start laughing with presidential bloopers for just $9.99. Then check out other bloopers videos that you can't buy anywhere else.
Princess Anne playing it safe.
Keep only the ones you want. Cancel anytime. These videos are not in stores, so call now. And start with presidential bloopers for just $9.99.
I feel right at home in this gymnasium.
Get the funniest bloopers ever. Presidential bloopers.
Call 1-800-393-0808 to order presidential bloopers for only $9.99. That's 1-800-393-0808. Or send $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Presidential Bloopers, Department 3, Richmond, Virginia, 23280. Call now.
Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond D.
If you like gritty, in-your-face excitement, then you've got to have Sling and Dirt, the newest World of Outlaws action-packed home video. Call 1-800-428-6993 to get wheel-to-wheel action and the best tumbles, stumbles, and crashes. Dirt's flying as the Wing Warriors push it to the limit and beyond. Call 1-800-428-6993 to own Sling and Dirt for only $14.95. There's never been so much outlaw action, so call and order your copy now. That's Sling and Dirt. Call now or order online at DiamondPeteSports.com, your interactive pit pass.
If you're in the mood for your favorite adult beverage when attending the Knoxville Nationals, you might try the oldest watering hole in town. It's called Dingus. I have no idea where the name came from, and I probably don't want to know. But I'll tell you what, it is packed in here in the afternoon prior to the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. And over on the walls around these fans, you can see drivers' names, crew chiefs, even fans, people from all over the world. Earl Baldus from Eldora signed the wall over there. All in all, it's a fun place to be. How come you guys are so quiet? It was so loud when I walked in here. Jesus. All right. Play K5 on the jukebox, will you, buddy? Right now, let's take a look at Stevie Smith's career here at the Nationals.
Right there on the wall, the fox. That's me.
Stevie Smith knows how to debut at the Knoxville Nationals. He arrived here in 1989 in Al Hamilton's red 77, finishing an impressive third and earning Rookie of the Year honors for the 1989 Nationals. In 1990, he backed up that performance with another third. In 1993, he was leading when a light rain began to fall, and when the race was restarted, dueled with Steve Kinser through much of the race, eventually falling to second behind the famed number 11. In 1997, he had to come all the way from the B main, but was leading in the Black 19 before a shredded left rear tire dashed his hopes at a Nationals championship. As that tire pops, so do Stevie Smith's dreams of winning the Knoxville Nationals championship. But he continues to chase the dream here at the Nationals and finished fourth in 1999 in the Ingersoll Rand entry.
Well, the driver of the black number 19 joins me now high above the Amoco Knoxville Nationals as we get set for tonight's 40th running of the event. And as you can see, Stevie's had some great runs, but it's been a struggle here this week. Stevie, let's go back to earlier this week and see how your performances have been as we lead into tonight's running of the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals. This heat number 1, you and Mark Kinser battled out on Thursday night.
Well, we had a late qualifying number and didn't time in very good and had to start pretty far back in the heat race. Didn't make it in our heat race, and that put us in the B main, and with a bad qualifying time, we had to start way back in the B, and we just never made up to the first two.
So that'll put you into tonight's B main event as we get set for tonight's running. You know, earlier this season when you came to Knoxville, you were so strong. How come when we come back for the Nationals now, problems?
Well, we haven't figured that out yet. Like you said, the last two races, you know, we ran a first and a second, and, you know, we had high hopes of coming in here to the Nationals and putting on a good performance. But right now we're 17th in the B main, and we have a long ways to go to get into the A. So the night's not over yet, but it's looking pretty dim.
What do you have to do to get through that B main? How is it different racing up through the alphabet, as they say?
Well, basically what I have to do is, you know, like I said, I'm starting 17th. I have to run up to the top 4, and if I get in the top 4, it transfers me to the A. And this is the only race of the year, the only Outlaw show of the year that we can't use a provisional, so we have to get to the top 4.
Well, Stevie, best of luck to you tonight. Maybe we can get that number 1 and change those numbers on the resume here at Knoxville. Well, TNN Sports celebrates the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals with the first ever online webcast of this premier sprint car race. Well, the grandstands are sold out for tonight's race, but we have plenty of online seats to all the action at TNNRacing.com. Log on at the race to start and watch live, intense, in-car, and on-track streaming video from this big half-mile oval. 6 streaming video channels will capture all the dirt-slinging action and give you an in-your-face, up-close, and personal look at the wing warriors like Stevie Smith, digging for positions and the win. Get ready to smell the methanol and chew on some dirt in the comfort of your own lazy boy. TNNRacing.com is your all-access ticket to the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals. There's another Knoxville nugget for you, and another guy who was a little bit darker in hair color the last time he was here. The 82 Rookie of the Year finished 4th. Our good broadcast booth buddy, Brad Doty.
The biggest news in motor oil since motor oil.
Let me show you something that really surprised me. Look what happened to the other leading motor oils after a 128-hour test designed to simulate severe driving conditions. But this is newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base after the same test. I'm no mechanic, but I know which one I'd rather put in my car. These, I don't even know what I'd do with these.
For protection so strong you can see the difference.
Go to AutoZone and ask for details about the Pennzoil Oil Change Special.
33 years, over 700 billion starts, and now Die Hard is stopping car thieves. Introducing the Die Hard Security Battery. To learn more, call us or come see it at Sears.
I'm the head of the Oral Authority.
Roller Jam. The preaching prophet and the commish are on a mission to clean up the league. But it just ain't gonna happen, boys. Roller Jam. Friday at 9, 8 Central on TNN.
In 1996, it was all about Mark Kinzer and Carl Kinzer, the year of their World of Outlaws championship. And at the Nationals, Mark Kinzer won the prelim and started on the pole. The Carl Kinzer tuned white and orange number 5M was down low while Sammy Swindell was up top on the first lap in turn number 3. Mark took the lead, and that was that. He never looked back. But that doesn't mean that the racing was dull. Check out Greg Hodden. We were on board for that one. Greg was okay. Back to racing, there was just nothing anyone could do with Mark Kinzer in car number 5M. He led every one of the 30 laps in one of the most dominating performances in Knoxville Nationals history. Many tried, but none could track him down. Mark Kinzer gets the win. Dave Blaney was second, and Craig Delansky scored his highest Nationals finish with a third.
T-shirts, get your T-shirts. The Knoxville Nationals is awash with T-shirts. Every design imaginable, every color, every size. And here's the Steve Evans take on T-shirts. You never wear this year's shirt this year. You wear last year's shirt, or the year before that, or the oldest one you've got. Now you got to buy this year's shirt so you can wear it next year or the year after. It's like you don't take Hawaiian hats to the Caribbean. You take Caribbean hats to Hawaii, okay? That's how I feel about this whole thing. I got to tell you, it is just amazing. Millions of dollars in T-shirts are sold over this long weekend. Right now, we're going to sell you a piece on Mark Kinzer, a little retrospective video.
It took Mark Kinzer no time at all to begin to enjoy the Knoxville Nationals, finishing third here at age 23 in 1987 in the familiar old number 51. But over the next 8 years, third would come back to haunt Mark Kinzer. 3 more times he finished in that position, unable to improve to that coveted winner's spot. In 1993, he was leading before the number 11 of Steve Kinzer swept past to steal the win from a very disappointed Mark Kinzer. But in 1996, it was his year. On his lucky 13th try, it was an emotional win for Mark Kinzer, finally breaking through to put his name on that coveted list of Knoxville winners. In 1999, he did it again. After following Danny Lasowski through much of the early going, swept past in traffic to become a 2-time Knoxville Nationals champion. It was an emotional win for Mark after a weekend of struggle as his dad, Carl Kinzer, and Ray Williams, the sponsor, celebrates an emotional high five in victory lane.
Mark Kinzer's had a very interesting week here so far. He set fast time, spun in his heat, won the B, but he's earned enough points to make it to third in tonight's main event. And Brad, if anybody has pressure on them more than Mark Kinzer, I don't know who it is, because when you come to Knoxville with Carl Kinzer as your crew chief, you're expected to win.
Everybody expects Carl Kinzer's car to win, and you're right, as a driver, that's more pressure than some guys can take. Mark seems to be handling it pretty good.
And I think that's a big indication of the quality of driver Mark Kinzer has become. He's able to handle not just the pressure from the track and his competitors, but his crew chief as well. Here's more with Steve Evans.
So you've decided, yes, next year I'm going to Knoxville. Well, where are you going to stay? The few motels around here, forget it. They're booked generations in advance. Des Moines is only a 45-minute ride away. Everything from Marriott's to Motel 6s. Or like thousands of people, you could camp out. Make it real simple. Mattress in the back of a pickup truck. How about your Walmart tent? That's only about $1.50 probably. A little camp trailer, that one's pretty festive. Or you could go the big-time route, huh? 6-figure motor home. And where you going to park it? Well, call the fairgrounds, talk to them real sweetly, and maybe right inside the track. Otherwise, there's plenty of campgrounds, including people's front and backyards. Good way to meet a lot of new people. Stay with us. We'll be back with more from the Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
was all wrong for you. I think I was a freak.
Extra, extra, read all about it. This is the world headquarters of the Knoxville Dirt Digest. We're just concluding our pre-race show. The Amoco Knoxville Nationals coming up in just a few minutes. Now, when you're here for like 4 days, you lose all track of what's going on in the world, but not in Knoxville, thanks to the Dirt Digest. They publish 4 editions. You buy one, you know what happened the night before. More importantly, though, inside are all ads for restaurants and gas stations, good deals, a golf course, a casino up the road. There's some kind of bull riding contest going on, and you only get that news in the Dirt Digest. And you'll only get a reprise of the 1997 Amoco Knoxville Nationals right here.
Steve Kinzer, Dave Blaney, and Mark Kinzer were the Big Buck Boys in the month of money 1997. But when they went racing at the Nationals on Sunday night, after a wild thunder and lightning show Saturday, it was Sammy Swindell and Daniel Lasowski who had the early spotlight. Sammy in the silver #1 and Daniel Lasowski racing in a white #1 up on the top of the racetrack, both trying to track down Mark Kinzer. Sammy and Mark Kinzer ended up swapping the lead before they both got tangled up trying to avoid a crashed Don Drought. Never were the emotions of the Nationals more evident as a distraught Swindell flared up. That opened the door for Dave Blaney, who was competing in his last Nationals before heading off to NASCAR. The Buckeye Bullet scored the win. $100,000 for he and his crew chief, Kenny Woodruff.
You know, the Sprint Car Hall of Fame here has a lot of famous families in it, and one name that might be going in there real soon is the Blaney family. Father Lou, son Dave, and maybe eventually other son Dale Blaney, who joins us here tonight. Dale's going to start the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals from 5th tonight. And boy, this family has always had some fast race cars here. We saw your brother win, and you've got a car that's already picked up $50,000 this year. What is it about your family when it comes to these big dollar races?
I don't know. You know, Dave won some Kings Royals and the Knoxville race and the big one, so I don't know. I haven't won too many outlaw races, and probably won 2 of them, and you know, I've won the Kings Royal and a big one, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Everything's just working good. I mean, my car's good and the motors are good, so we got good equipment, and the guys working on it are doing a good job, so I don't know. Hopefully we got a good shot.
Well, picking races to win, if they're big dollar ones, that's always a good way to go. Let's take a look at the highlights from Wednesday night. That's night that Dale ran. We'll start with Napa Heat #4. Now watch the front end come up here. What got your car picking the front wheels up so early?
Just the air. I think I got right in behind that, tucked in behind that guy, and there's a little jump over there in turn 2, and I just come across that, and it just pulled the wheels. Kind of surprised me.
You got around Mike Goodman there to complete heat #4, and then on to the feature. You started from the front, and you pulled away from the field, but that Quaker State #11 started to reel you in. What changed? How did he catch you?
I don't know. My car was really good in the open, but as soon as I got into traffic, my car wasn't as good. I don't think I made a few mistakes picking the wrong line around some guys, and my car got a little tight in the center and loose off, and I had a hard time getting a run on the lap cars to put a slider on them. So,
well, you had a pretty good run here last night as well. You're in good shape for tonight's 40th run of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. What do you got to do to your car to get the win here tonight?
Not much, I don't think. It was awful good last night in the scramble. So you know, we kind of changed it around a little bit from Wednesday and from also the times before we come here. So we kind of went with a totally different deal. Sort of same thing we went at Eldora for the Kings Royal. So hopefully we got something good.
All right, Dale, good luck to you. He's already got $50,000. Could he win the $100,000 coming up? We'll stay with us to find out with more of our Knoxville Nationals Nuggets. 25 of the 39 national winners have started on the front row. We'll see if it can happen tonight with Daniel Lasowski or Donnie Schatz. We're coming right back to the Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Well, hello there.
He was born a country boy.
It's been a long, long time.
And he loved to sing a country song.
Make the world go away.
Time Life Music proudly presents the Elvis Presley Country Collection.
From a jack to a king. I'm loneliness to
You'll get 30 unforgettable songs.
Just take good care of her.
And when Elvis sang a country song, it came straight from the heart.
You give your hand to me, and then you say hello.
Get the Elvis Country Collection on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes.
Well, I'm in my blue to go again.
30 classics.
What a rainbow turns.
Songs every country fan loves.
Your cheating heart will make you weep.
So many great memories.
Pardon me if I'm sentimental.
So many beautiful performances.
Welcome to my world.
Then audition other great Elvis collections.
Won't you come on in?
Satisfaction guaranteed.
You were always on my mind.
But remember, Elvis Country is not in stores.
You were always on my mind.
So please call now.
Call 1-800-656-7744 to order Elvis Country for $19.99 for 2 CDs or 2 cassettes plus $3.99 shipping and handling. That's 1-800-656-7744 or send check or money order to Elvis Country, Department 8, Richmond, Virginia 23280. Call 1-800-656-7744.
Welcome back for the final time in this pre-race show. The fans are filing in by the thousands. It is standing room only. If you don't have a ticket, you don't get in. And of course, they're all wearing all those colorful shirts that they bought from the vendors. And you can tell who they want to win by what's on their shirt. Who do I think is going to win? I'm not that stupid. But I'll tell you, I think we've got a chance at a first-time winner, considering that up front in the first 5 rows, only 3 of those drivers have ever won this race before. Okay, let's check in and get the opinions of the rest of the guys on this broadcast team.
They tell me I got to make some kind of prediction on tonight's race, and I hate that because, first of all, how do you predict anything at this crazy place? At the Knoxville Nationals, anything can happen, and usually does to lots of different people. And the other part of it is you just can't believe how much desire these guys have to win this race. This is the one they want more than anyone all year. There's 25, 30 guys back there. I'd love to see them win this thing. How do you pick just one? But I'll tell you what I do see. In the late laps of tonight's race, I see a shootout between Danny Lasowski and Mark Kinzer. Goodyear thinks they've got the right tire for Mark Kinzer's car. Lasowski's on Hoosiers, and he says he found something last night that just might help him win this thing tonight. 1 out of 2, that's about as close as I can get it.
I don't know, guys. I've been looking at this thing for hours trying to figure out who's going to win this A main tonight. I tell you what, let's start with the C main. How about that? There's going to be a good battle right off the bat for Rookie of the Year here at the Nationals between the 14M Jason Myers from California and the 20E Brian Ellenberger from Pennsylvania. Whoever finishes higher there is going to be the Rookie of the Year at the Nationals. In the B main, Stevie Smith coming from 17th. You know that's going to be fun to watch. And in that feature, I think it could be any one of 5 guys. Lasowski, obviously, from the pole. The low groove should be there for him. Donnie Schatz is the hungriest outside the front row. Mark and Carl Kinzer, I mean, Carl's won this race 13 times, so you can't count those guys out. I think Craig Degalansky certainly could win the Knoxville Nationals if the high groove is there for him. And Steve Kinzer starting in 12th in that number 11 car, looking for his 12th Knoxville Nationals win. It's going to be one of those 5 guys.
Well, I don't know, Brad. What do you think?
I'd have to go with Craig Delansky for a first-time winner. I'd like to see him win it, I think.
All right, I agree with you as Delansky is a dark horse. Lasowski's got the best chance. He starts on the pole. Kinzer's won it from 14.
Yep.
He can certainly do it from where he is starting tonight. Well, go run to the refrigerator, get something cold to drink, unplug the phone, turn on the VCR, and sit in and lock yourself down because we're getting ready to come right back with the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. ExperienceCountry.com, your personal source for all things country. From race cars to country stars, connect to Country.com. Get ready, we're going sprint car racing from Knoxville right after these words.
Zone Friday on TNN. TNN Action Wednesdays are hotter than ever on the Magnificent 7.
Is that little Billy Travis?
Mary's son comes home. Then on 18 Wheels of Justice.
You're driving us out of here.
Agent Baxter is in trouble.
And on Dead Man's Gun.
Name's Boucher.
He has to pay for what he's done.
The action starts at 8 Eastern with the Magnificent 7, followed by 18 Wheels of Justice at 9 and Dead Man's Gun at 10. Only on TNN Action Wednesdays. One hot night.
When I buy grapes for Hy-Vee, it's like I'm buying them for my own kids.
At Hy-Vee, we actually get the grapes from the grower shipper. They cut them off the vine. We have them back to the Midwest in 3 days and into your store right away. We want you to take them home, take a bite, and say, wow, that's the sweetest grape I've ever had. I guarantee you, when you buy grapes at Hy-Vee, they're going to be the highest quality and the sweetest grapes available.
Evander Holyfield, once a warrior, always a warrior. Tough, strong, fearless. But he's got to give it his all if he wants to get it all back. Starting with John Ruiz. He's won his last 11 fights, 9 of them by knockout. And he won't be satisfied until he becomes the first Latino to claim the title of heavyweight champ. Holyfield versus Ruiz, Saturday, August 12th at 10 p.m. Only on Showtime, America's #1 boxing network.
The following is a special presentation of TNN Sports. Since the early 1960s, the sleepy town of Knoxville, Iowa has been known as the sprint car racing capital of the world. And during our many visits over that time, we have seen dozens of examples of just how deeply this grassroots motorsport is embedded in this town's identity. It's hard to imagine that a village of only slightly more than 8,000 swells to 5 times that number as sprint car fans arrive for the greatest show on dirt, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. It's like Woodstock with wings and wheels. This weekend marks the 40th running of the most prestigious sprint car race in the world. And you've got a front row seat for everything that makes the Amoco Knoxville Nationals one of the most unique events in motorsports. The most famous dirt track in the world, Knoxville Raceway. The richest purse ever paid on dirt. A 4-day crowd topping 80,000 fans, each cheering for his or her favorite among the 60 brave men who tonight battle more for honor and glory than for dollars. It is an absolutely perfect evening for the Nationals. In fact, not a drop of rain has fallen here in Knoxville since this event started back on Wednesday. Helicopter camera, where are you? Where's the helicopter? It's me, Evans, up here on the starters platform. I know you're up there somewhere. Hi, everybody. I am Steve Evans, and welcome to the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Pardon me just a second. I have to say hello to a few friends. Are you people ready to kick some dirt? I think they're ready. How about a big wave to the millions of fans at home right now watching live on TNN, wishing they were in your seat? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I talked about big money. Check this out. Over the 4 days, over $600,000, $400,000 tonight alone. The winner of the A feature, $100,000. It gets bumped next year to $125,000. I'm going to turn this starter stand back over to Doug Clark, the official starter here, and my buddy. I'm going to turn the show over to the associate editor of Open Wheel magazine. That would be Dave Argabright.
You know, Steve, to me, Knoxville Raceway looks scary. Sometimes the racing groove gets pushed way out here by the fence, and this big guy ain't going to move no matter how hard you hit it. Now, I got to walk down to Craig Delansky. He didn't want to get his shoes muddy way up here in the muck. Tell me, Craig, how do you overcome the fear? You've ran here a lot of years. How do you get right up there against that fence?
Well, you got to mentally put it out of your mind that that fence is something that's going to work against you. You know, that fence really can be a friend to you. You know, when that cushion gets right up there a couple feet away from it, you know, you got to know that, you know, if there's some moisture there, your car's going to stick and you're going to roll right through there, you know, and sometimes that fence can help you out, you know. You just can't look at it like it's something that's going to bite you if you make a mistake or if you bobble a little bit. It actually is more forgiving than what you think.
This is your best shot. You start fourth. We wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Now to my associate on this 40th Amoco Knoxville Nationals here in the pits, Bobby Gerald.
Thank you very much, Dave. We're standing alongside Donnie Schatz. I want to talk a little bit about the pressure of the Knoxville Nationals, because fear certainly is one element, but the pressure, Donnie, the sponsors are here, extra family members, volumes of fans. How much are you feeling it right now?
Well, there's a lot of pressure here. You know, we're starting on the front row here. Having a guy like Ken Woodruff get this car to the front row, we don't want to let him down. We want to win this.
Have you run the race in your mind?
About 200,000 times today. You know, I figured out every possible scenario to win this and lose this, and we'll just hope that I figure the right one and put in good 30 laps and come home with that big trophy, because we want this one bad.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And calling the action, it's Ralph Shaheen and Brad Doty at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Thank you, Bobby Gerald. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Knoxville, the biggest sprint car racing night of the entire year, and we're happy to have you with us. There is one other word that you're going to hear a lot about here this weekend, and tonight especially, and that's perseverance. Brad, if you're going to have a problem, you got to bounce back in a hurry and start scoring those all-important points again.
Well, we've always seen at the World of Outlaw races here on TNN that these guys never give up, but it's especially important here at the Knoxville Nationals. No matter what happens, you get in there and dig and never give up, and you keep fighting.
Those points decide, as you score them throughout the course of the week, where you will start on Saturday night. Two drivers have already really had to test the word perseverance. Joey Saldana was one of those two. And Brad, this youngster came out looking like he was going to be a threat. Napa Heat number 3 earlier in the week. He was fast then.
Yeah, he drives by Danny Wood, who we've seen really fast in our Outlaw shows. He looked good in that heat race, but boy, the lineup of this main didn't go his way.
Inside row number 2, watch the two cars come together. Saldana bobbles and flips over. $1,000 wing goes down the drain.
But if you're ever going to turn a sprint car over, that's the time to do it. It's a slow roll over. It didn't hurt anything but the wing.
And he was able to bounce back from that, Brad.
But he had to go to the tail of that A-main and work his way back up through.
He'll start the A feature 14th tonight. Jack Hodenshield, another one. Napa Heat number 5 earlier in the week. Watch this down in turn number 1.
Jack got in there and got against that 4 car, and it broke the steering box in that car. He had to, right there, also got the wing. Jack runs a big steering wheel, bent the steering up against the dash. They put a smaller wheel and he went back out and found out the box was broke. Put him in this B main. He couldn't finish the heat race.
The Wild Child comes out in the feature, battles with Lance DeWeese. Gets his way through the B, comes on into the A. Looked pretty good there. He'll start 22nd tonight. He is the last car to automatically make the transfer straight in, or 20th, we should say, straight in to tonight's A feature. So let's show you the 20 drivers who have already transferred through earlier in the week into tonight's A feature. And it's interesting, Brad, you get big names and small names. You get Danny Lasowski and Donnie Schatz in the front row. There's some surprise names in here, especially when we get to the back half of the top 20.
Here you see Dean Jacobs in that group, a good run for him. But Byron Reed from Ohio, his second attempt at the Knoxville Nationals in the field. Kelly Kinzer, his second ride in the 7 car. Good run for these two guys.
And the format of racing that you're going to see here tonight, we're going to show you the C feature, 15 laps, 22 cars. 2 will transfer out of that to the back of the B. 22 more cars for 22 laps for the all-important 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals, which we will take 4 more cars out of that B to finish out our field. What a great night of racing it's going to be. And you think there's pressure here? There is a tremendous amount of pressure to make this so important race, as Danny Lasowski will tell you.
There's second to none when it comes to the Knoxville Nationals, because people take their vacations. It's one big family party, and I think it's just the greatest event next to the Daytona 500 and Indianapolis 500.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
He was all wrong for you. I think I was a freak.
Hi, do you have any mozzarella?
Sorry, we're all out.
Give me a pound of mozzarella.
How about some nice provolone?
Where's all the mozzarella? Well, Dave Thomas put it on Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme.
No, we're all out of mozzarella.
2 slices of mozzarella, a plump, juicy whole chicken breast fillet topped with a delicious Parmesan sauce. It's a mouth-watering combination.
Dave, Frankie's coming. Dave?
Come Come in and try Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme today. And remember, Wendy's pickup windows open late, so you can eat great.
Thanks for stopping.
Even late.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
When you're a big-time racer, it's just fame, fortune, and beautiful women. A pretty cool package. Just like a new Luxair air conditioning system for your home with high-efficiency performance to slash your operating costs up to 40%, plus complete reliability, no matter how hot it gets outside. Okay, it's not fame, fortune, and beautiful women, but it is pretty cool, huh? Find your Luxair dealer fast at 1-800-LUXAIRE. 1-800-LUXAIR.
TNN Sports Live coverage of the 40th Annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals is being brought to you by Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. And by Luxair, the official heating and air conditioning supplier to the world of Outlaws. Welcome back to this live coverage of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals at Marion County Fairgrounds and Knoxville Raceway. Boy, it's been an interesting night here already. This packed crowd has already seen some high drama. Just a few moments ago, Randy Hannigan, who was supposed to start in the front row of the B feature, flipped down the front straightaway. Bobby Gerald was on the scene immediately and filed this report for us.
Well, big drama here in the B-Main Hot Laps. Randy Hannigan, who was scheduled to start on the front row, a big flip on the front straightaway. You're all right. What happened?
Well, you know, we're running around a real good hot lapping and come out of turn 4 and something broke in the rear part of the suspension and got it underneath the car and shot the thing up in the air. And I just kind of held on there and it tore it up pretty good. But I got a good crew and I got a lot of good people behind me and helping me with this KNC drywall Terry Hannigan Sprinter. And if we can get this car back together, it'll be a miracle. But you know, all of our guys can do a good job, and I think we can get it.
Well, here we go with our Mopar starting grid for the C feature, getting set to get underway. In row number 1 will be Billy Wilburn on the front. In position number 1, the tire changer for Rusty Wallace. Jared Hall, the Wild Skull helmet next to him. Row number 2, Ricky Logan led the Gum Out points earlier this year. Calvin Landis alongside of him. Brad Furr won the C Scramble earlier this week. Tim Kading, son of the California legend, next to him. Row number 4, Brett Antill and Jason Statler. Row 5, Bill Robertson out of Nebraska, and Ryan Jamison, who was 10th in the C Scramble the other night. Row 6 is Keith Kaufman, won the A feature last night, and Kerry Madsen from Sydney, Australia. Row 7, Jason Myers out of California, and Len Thompson out of Pennsylvania. Row number 8, Ronald Laney won a heat race last night, and Shane Stewart from Bixby, Oklahoma. Row 9 is Rocky Hodges, a long time up and wheel standout alongside of Bob Weave and Brian Engelberger and Joe Rowe, the 7-time IRA champ. And row 11, the 2 cars are transferred out of the D, Goodman and Johnson. To Dave Hargebright.
Well, Ralph, the 0 car, Bill Wilburn, is the full-time tire changer on Rusty Wallace's Winston Cup car. His buddy Tony Stewart has an airplane waiting for him to whisk him to Watkins Glen, where in the morning he's got to go to work. Bobby?
Brad Furr, who was starting inside of the 3rd row in car number 2F. We saw him get a 3rd at the Kings Royal. He backed that up with a 3rd at the big one at Eldora last week, sharing the podium with a couple of his idols, Steve and Mark Kinzer. We understand, guys, that Brad had a little problem getting the cork out of his champagne bottle, and just as he was being attacked by Steve and Mark, it uncorked, and he really let Mark have it. Mark told us he got about a half a gallon of champagne right in his face.
C feature is 15 laps, 2 cars to transfer out to the B. Green flag, and we're racing. Problems in turn 1 for Billy Wilburn there in the Meade 0, who started on the front row, and the yellow flag is out. Doug Clark puts the yellow back out, Brad.
Yeah, that was really a ragged start, Ralph. Didn't look good for Billy Wilburn. Didn't get a very good start. Then he gets down in turn 1, has his trouble. So fortunately for him, they didn't like the start, and he'll get to try this again.
Billy Wilburn's had some success this year running a 360. He's won a couple of races in 360 powered cars. 360s, for those of you that are new to sprint cars, the engine's a little bit smaller before you step up to the big 410s, which we're using here tonight. Bobby Gerald.
Let's talk a little bit about Jason Myers. Now, this is the leading candidate for the Knoxville Nationals Rookie of the Year at this point. 2 rookies, he and Brian Ellenberger, both in this race, battling it out. But what's interesting about Myers is that last week, just 8 days ago, on his way to Eldora, he and his brother Darren Carter got in a rental car crash. They were at a stoplight, rolled through. The other guy didn't stop and T-bone him. It was very serious. Jason had a concussion and was out for 2 nights of racing. He's returned back and has looked very good here this weekend, guys, on his way possibly to the next Knoxville Rookie of the Year.
Green flag, we go again, but boy, that didn't look a whole lot better.
Now, Billy Wilburn's having trouble. That car stumbling on the start when he it was something. It's like it started for fuel. He gassed it, didn't take off. He got down to the corner. Looked like the car got sideways. He might have a fuel pickup problem on that car, Ralph.
First lap completed. Jared Hall out front. Right behind him, it's the 3S of Ricky Logan, and what a great story Logan is, running in second place. That's a show car that Logan is running. That red and white car running there in second. The Lucas Oil back machine right behind our leader. That machine right there, he had lost his ride just the other day, was standing around by the Avenger chassis, the guys, when he lost his ride, and they said, hey, take the show car. So he got an engine from Ott, and here he's racing. He's about to take the lead in the C feature.
That's a pretty fast show car. Oh, but Jared Hall fights back, sees him on the outside. Jared might have been up there just trying to run comfortable, not make any mistakes, and he saw Logan on the outside of him there, and he decided to maybe better get his elbows up and try to run a little bit harder as Tim Kading comes up there, Ralph.
Son of the legend, Brent Kading from Northern California, the multi-time California champion. Brad Bird right there in that red number 2 runs in 4th. Another big name coming out of California these days.
Yep.
Let's check in with Dave Argabright.
Well, guys, Ricky Logan is running an Avenger chassis. It's one of the very few coilover cars on the rear suspension. Has no torsion bars. Other guys have tried that over the years, not making it work. He makes it work pretty well tonight.
Well, that's what Stevie Smith has been running for last couple of years, a coilover car on all 4 corners, but rumor has it that they might be going back to a torsion bar car in the rear.
Logan doing a great job in that Lucas Oil backed entry. Led the gum out points early in the season, and now you take a look back to our leader, Jared Hull, who's always had that wild skull design on his helmet. And here's a battle a little bit deeper in the field. That's Keith Kaufman out in front in that 7 car. Kaufman right now listed in 10th position with Shane Stewart in the white 9, giving chase through turn 2.
Yeah, we saw Keith Kaufman won the non-qualifiers main event last night. He's got a long way to go trying to get from the C main up to the B main.
Kading and that orange number 10 really putting a charge on now to the backside of Ricky Logan.
Boy, you can see the track starting to slick off a little bit right there, especially going into 1. There's a little slick spot there, but right there, real black getting into turn 1.
And Furr closing in behind them in the red number 2. Here comes Tim Kading to the bottom. Boy, look at, he gets the door slammed on him from Logan. Logan tries to hold him off, can't do it. Kading comes powering through.
Yeah, Logan's getting really loose. That car really a lot of wheel spin. He got the car real sideways, and Brad Furr's all over him also.
Looking down on Kading's orange number 10T as he puts a lap on a lap car from our Circuit City aerial platform, and you can see the gap he's already opened up over Logan's red and white machine behind him.
Yeah, right there, Al.
And here comes Furr to the outside to get around Logan as well to take over 3rd. Remember, 2 cars will transfer. Here comes Calvin Landis in the white 70. He also gets inside of the show car driven by Ricky Logan. Poor Ricky Logan started off great, Brad, and he's slipping back.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, you know, throwing a deal together like that. Oh, we got a car stop.
That's Rocky Hodges in the 18 up along the wall just at the exit of turn number 2 below the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Rocky, a long-time standout in open-wheel racing. He's going to come to a slow stop here tonight in the C feature. Working Woody over to pick him up. Well, we'll come right back to the Marion County Fairgrounds to see if Jared Hall can hang on and transfer to the B feature. Don't you miss it from Knoxville.
Good evening. Here's a news flash.
He's outrageous. He's out of control. He's Benny Hill, television's king of comedy. Now, for the first time ever, you can own the Benny Hill collection. The only complete edition of Benny's greatest comedy routines. Now available on home video. It's shocking. It's unforgettable. It's Benny as you've never seen him before. Call now and get Benny Hill for the feel-good price of just $9.99. Use your credit card and we'll also send you Benny's Video Spotlight, absolutely free. That's 4 full hours of Benny's Best for just $9.99. You'll get your favorite sketches and hilarious routines. Then preview other great Benny Hill videos. There's no minimum to buy. Cancel anytime. Call now and get Benny Hill for just $9.99. Order with your credit card and you'll also get Benny's Video Spotlight, absolutely free. The complete Benny Hill collection is not available in stores, so don't wait. Call now.
Call 1-800-647-6006 to order Benny Hill for only $9.99. Use your credit card and get Benny Hill's Video Spotlight free. That's 1-800-647-6006. Or send $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Benny Hill, Department 4, Richmond, Virginia, 23280. Call now.
The greatest show on dirt, known as the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. And boy, do these guys attract some die-hard fans enjoying themselves here at Knoxville. Hey, if you think there's hard hits going on here, check out TNN Sunday night. That's when you'll see professional rodeo riders experience the longest 8 seconds in sports. It's PBR Championship Bull Riding from Charlotte, Sunday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific, right here on TNN. Bobby Jarrett.
Well, former track champion here at Knoxville, Rocky Hodges, out of the race. What happened, Rocky?
I think I broke a throttle linkage. We got everything as light as we can possibly have on these cars today, and I believe it just broke.
Well, that's the same story that happened to Randy Hannigan earlier. You're lucky it didn't hurt you as bad.
Yeah, I broke it at a pretty inopportune time going in number 1 corner down there because when I broke it, I lost throttle, and you have to have the throttle to steer these cars, so that wasn't too good, but we ended up okay.
A scary moment, Dave Argabright.
Well, Shane Stewart in the 9H, Bobby, is a regular in the Gum Out series and has had some impressive runs this year, but he's now scored 11th. Unless something dramatic happens in the next 3 laps, this is going to be a very disappointing weekend for Shane Stewart.
Brad, these aren't cars that just coast to a stop a lot of the time.
Well, no, they direct drive, so if something breaks under load like that, you can't get it out of gear, and it takes a little bit to slow them down. In that shot we saw front row starter Billy Wilburn, he might get an earlier flight back to New York tonight than he thought.
Pilot Bob might not have time to turn that plane back around. Pilot Bob is Tony Stewart's pilot, getting ready to take Billy Wilburn back to Watkins Glen. We're going back to green. Jared Hall gets a tremendous jump. Tim Kading breaks away with him. Brad Furr hangs on to third. But there's a big gap now between these two battling it out for the lead, and Brad Furr, who's got the high side there, coming around in third.
Terrible start for Brad Furr.
That's Calvin Landis in that white 70 chasing him down. Your leader is still Jared Hall. Oh, and we got one up along the wall.
Well, that's what Brad Furr needed because those guys got such a jump on him that he was going to have a hard time running them down to get a transfer spot.
That's Len Thompson. You can see the right rear just gone on that car.
Yeah, I don't think the track's abrasive, Ralph. I don't think it was a deal where it burnt through. I think he sliced it or something happened. I don't think it was a wear problem, a tire wear problem.
Len Thompson out of Newtown, Pennsylvania. Let's see what happens to the 10X. On the high side through 4.
Okay, right. Oh, yep, blows right there.
Wow, and there's a whole pack of cars, including Shane Stewart in there, that got hit and went up in the air.
Boy, that had to have done some damage to Shane Stewart's right rear tire and possibly suspension, as hard as that hit was.
Yeah, he is stopped down in turn number 1. There he is. He has climbed out of the car, and you can see the right rear is flat on the 9 of Shane Stewart. He is out of the car. Tough break for Shane Stewart. Well, we will come right back to the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
The biggest news in motor oil since motor oil.
Let me show you something that really surprised me. Look what happened to the other leading motor oils after a 128-hour test designed to simulate severe driving conditions. But this is newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base after the same test. I'm no mechanic, but I know which one I'd rather put in my car. These, I don't even know what I'd do with these.
For protection so strong you can see the difference, get newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base.
I want to leave this small town, go someplace where there's more people than cows. I want to see the world, be part of a team. I want to go where people will listen to what I've got to say, have people depend on me, not the other way around. Have a place of my own, get an education, help someone in trouble, earn people's respect.
You have plans. Let the Air Force help you get them off the ground.
I want to hang out with people as cool as me.
High above us, as a gang up on the roof. Those are TNN Sports cameramen up there working hard, and there's crowd all over this racetrack. The backstretch grandstands are absolutely packed. The front stretch grandstands, there isn't a seat available anywhere. The suites over at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum are loaded. It's a bunch of dude fans sitting over here. I mean, they had jammed this town and this racetrack. There's the Hall of Fame. Remember, this is just a town of 8,000 people. And tonight, there's some 40,000 die-hard sprint car fans. Hey, Nebraskans love you, Doty. Sprint car fans and Doty fans packed into the Marion County Fairgrounds.
As we said earlier, they're all over the world here, and they just come in for this 4 days, and it overcrowds this town, that is for sure.
We have come across fans from Alaska, Australia, and England, and here's why we are under caution. Watch the car at the top of your screen on the high side of turn number 4, the 10X on Len Thompson, right about here, Brad.
Yeah, it looked like maybe it was a little bit low, like he'd punctured it, but right there when he hit Shane Stewart, be lucky if it's just a flat on Shane's car and not suspension damage. But I really couldn't tell. It looked like it might have been a slow leak, and when they get low like that, they build a lot of heat, and they'll just blow apart like that.
There's the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum just on the outside of turn number 2. And if you ever get anywhere near Knoxville, whether the races are on or not, I strongly encourage you to stop by there and visit that museum. It is absolutely spectacular. They're constantly turning over and putting in new exhibits, wonderful things. Look at all the fans having a great time, flashing the lights over there, enjoying the night. That's it. Keep them going. Here are the names of the new inductees. Bob Deary, who is here, has been a long-time supporter of the racing here, is here with us tonight. TJ Giddings, Dan Pemble, Jerry Potter, Gary Swanson, and Gary Masato, all here enjoying it. Congratulations to all of those folks who've earned themselves a very, very special place in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. It's an amazing facility. If you're a big Mario Andretti fan, there's 2 of his cars over there right now.
Yeah, even the people that have been there, like as you said, they change it all the time. So if you haven't been there this year or recently, you haven't seen it because they change it.
It's pretty neat for Bobby Gerald and I, because there's one of Gary Patterson's cars over there that Bobby and I both got to see race at West Capitol Raceway. So it's pretty neat to see that over there as well. There is Thompson's car as they're going to work on that right rear. And as you said, Brad, you got to be careful. It could be more than just a flat tire.
Yeah, but that shows the tread that's still on that tire, so it didn't, as I said, burn through or melt the tire. The tread off and blow the tire, so he ran over something or something punctured it. But you can see that bar bent in a U-shape right there, 90-degree bend, that's supposed to be straight. So that's part of the suspension, and they've got a little more work than just changing the tire.
When you blow the toe,
yeah, that's not good either. It's broken the rear end also.
Well, and Dave Argerbright, when that tire blows and that rubber starts flapping around, it can do a lot of damage.
And you're kind of a passenger at that point. Lynn, you looks like you're all right. What happened?
I think the right rear tire was going soft there on the caution, and I think it just let go. And when it come apart, broke the drive line.
and it was just a wild ride from there. But Kreiner motor was running awesome. The Maxim chassis was hooked up. We were going to the front. We started way back. We were coming good. So,
well, we're sorry to see your night end this way. Glad you're all right, guys.
Tough break. Tough break. There's a good look at the front stretch grandstands.
All those people.
Sea of people packed into this facility, having themselves an amazing time here. And it really is a Norman Rockwell painting come to life here at Knoxville for these 4 days, and the pork sandwiches and the homemade pies from the Rotary Club over there. And there's a good look at the infield. None of the transporters are brought into the infield. They're all parked outside of turn 3 and 4. So in the infield, Brad, all you get is a tent maybe and a bunch of area to put your parts in. They take all the tents out once the sun goes down.
Well, with 100 and some race teams here, they obviously can't all fit in the infield. So that's how although they do split them up, it's still 70 or 80 cars a night. So they make them park outside. They unload everything in the infield.
There's all your transporters. Look at them all locked in. They're millions of dollars worth of transporters, and everybody fighting for a good spot so they can hurry up, get back in after the races, and get their car loaded and head to the car wash. We're back to green. Jared Hall out front. Tim Kading chasing him down. Ferg gets a much better jump. Comes to the bottom in that red number 2 and takes away a potential transfer spot from his fellow Californian.
Boy, is he really glad that yellow came out now and gave him another shot. He took a good advantage of that. Got a good run off of turn 2.
White flag is out, and I will tell you one thing. I think the Gum Out Series is a spot that Brad Furr's been doing a lot of racing on, and every time you get more laps, Brad, you get a lot more better at it, and I think it's showing with Brad Furr. He is really maturing as a driver.
It really has, just from the beginning of the year till now.
Jared Hall claims the checkered flag. Brad Furr will take advantage of that yellow to take the second place spot, and the final transfer to tonight be made. Nice job in that San Mina number 2.
Yep, with just a couple laps left, he got the job done.
Boy, that's really a good indication, I think, of where Brad Furr is going as a driver. Not that Tim Kading isn't going to be a great young up-and-coming star, but Brad Furr is really taking advantage of it. Jared Hall, Brad Furr going on to the B. We'll have it for you when we come back to where else? Knoxville.
Can't get enough of TNN Outdoors on the weekend? Now you can bring the experts home with TNN Outdoors, the magazine. For over 15 years, TNN Outdoors has been the home of the experts, bringing you the highest-rated outdoor programming on TV. TNN Outdoors, the magazine, offers cutting-edge tips, tactics, and secrets available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Each issue uncovers great how-tos, products, and destinations of the pros, sneak peeks at your favorite outdoor shows, and behind-the-camera action that never makes it on the air. TNN's Tracy Bird brings you in-depth interviews with your favorite celebrities, as well as hunters and fishermen you've come to know on TNN Outdoors. Order now and receive 50% off the cover price and a chance to win the outdoor trip of a lifetime. Call toll-free 888-760-3337 and make TNN Outdoors last all year long.
It's the age-old test of man against beast. Don't miss championship bull riding from Charlotte. Sunday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN.
Durst Motor Company is the proud sponsor of the World of Outlaws sprint car driver, Danny Lasowski.
Join me in the winner's circle at Durst. Their winning attitude allows you to save time, money, and hassles.
Durst Motor Company is family-owned and operated just like Danny's racing team and has been serving the Lincoln and surrounding area with over 50 years of combined sales experience. Danny, Tom, and Phil invite everyone to race on in for savings. Bank financing and limited warranties available.
Remember, you're a winner at Durst.
137 O Street, Lincoln, USA.
The thunder as the World of Outlaws Gum Out Series roar into the Husker Auto Group Eagle Raceway. Don't miss all the high-speed excitement with drivers like Greg Delansky, Jeff Shepard, Shane Stewart, as 30 or more World of Outlaw drivers from across America bring outlaw sprint car racing back to the Eagle Highway. The Husker Auto Group Eagle Raceway, where nothing beats being there. Coming Monday, August 14th, the World of Outlaws Gum Out Series. See 30 or more World of Outlaw drivers fresh from the Knoxville National. The Husker Auto Group Eagle Raceway, rock.
That's a great overhead shot of the Marion County Fairgrounds, Knoxville Raceway. We're just about an hour outside of Des Moines, Iowa. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws taking a look from our Circuit City aerial platform. We've just completed the C feature, moved 2 cars up to fill out a 22-car B feature, and Dave Argerbright, that's shaping up to be a good one as well.
Well, it is, Ralph. We're with Jared Hull. Jared, every time you come out here, you get a little better. Now you're in the B. What can you do from here?
Well, the crew's working real hard. They've learned a lot here. You know, I've gotten even better driving, so I feel real comfortable here. We're going to bolt a new pair of Hoosiers on and try to come from the back, see what we can do in that B main.
How rapidly is the track changing right now?
It's getting slicker. You know, the first couple laps I could run the bottom, and it moved to the top, so we had to move up there. So right now it's getting slicker, but I got to thank Guy, Bud, and Betty. They give me the good equipment to come out here at the Nationals with the best of the best and run up front.
Boy, you couldn't get this grin off this guy's face with a crowbar. Bobby Terrell?
Well, here's one guy that's hoping he's grinning after this next race, but he has to start 17th to do it. Stevie Smith, can you?
Well, I don't think it's impossible, but the track is narrow, and, you know, I hope we have a good car and I get some good brakes, and, you know, if luck's with us and things go right, we have a chance.
How about the racetrack right now, and will it suit your race car?
Well, it's, you know, it's kind of narrow. I'm just kind of surprised they have that much water on the top. It's most of the guys are running one lane, and if it suits the car, like you said, I don't know. I mean, I had some hot laps, and I felt pretty good, but I think all the other cars feel pretty good, too.
Stevie Smith got a long way to go, guys, tonight in the B main. They will transfer 4 cars out of that B into the A, Ralph.
In taking a look at that number 19 and talking to Stevie's dad, Steve Smith Sr., and talking about that coilover car that he's running, he says right now the coilovers, Brad, that rear end sits up so high that when they get on the gas, it rolls back up and over the rear tires and then launches, as opposed to just dropping down and launching. So Stevie's not getting as good a launch off the corners or off the starts as the other guys.
Transfer the weight to the rear tires, and that's killing them right now. And like I said earlier, they're going to try to maybe go to a rear torsion bar car and see what happens.
But keep the coilovers on the front is what they're
right. The coils do transfer quicker and get that load to the rear tires quicker.
Now from our Circuit City aerial platform, you are watching tonight's A main event cars for the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals doing their hot lap session. This isn't a race, just a warm-up period. Well, there's some new hot stuff coming to the market for you sprint car fans, and Bobby Gerald checked it out for us.
Young race driver Darren Pittman, even when he's not on the racetrack, he's still practicing. How does he do that? Dirt track racing sprint cars. Check him out. This is the latest PC version, a test version. And Darren, it looks like you're at Knoxville. What's going on?
We're just trying to get as much lap time as we possibly can here, see if we can't get an edge on some of these guys.
It's unbelievable to me that this game's only going to cost nearly 20 bucks, $19.95. You'll be able to find it at Walmart and Best Buy. It'll be real easy to pick up. Looks like maybe you need a few more laps.
Yeah, I tell you what, for 19 bucks, it's a lot cheaper than coming out here and trying to run with these guys in real, and you can crash. It's a lot cheaper.
Right now, you're in the rat bag number 10. There are 15 real cars, 18 real tracks. Does it seem real the way it drives and plays?
Yeah, between all the racetracks, all of them are right on between Knoxville and Eldora and Chico, and you really got to drive it a lot like we really have to when we're there.
All right, get around Tim Schaefer here for me. I want a slide job.
Yeah, we're going to try to put one on him here. I might end up crashing both those before it's over, but there we go.
Oh, he's up on the fence. Look at him go. Oh, a little contact, but Pittman rolls on. I like it.
And it doesn't hurt quite as much when you crash the video game. Trust me, I've done enough of it already this weekend. Well, that was Bobby a little earlier. Now Bobby's got an update for us, Bobby.
Well, Randy Hannigan has made the repairs. Is it 100%?
Well, in my mind, in my heart, it's 100% because my guys gave 100%, and you know, I had a bunch of good guys around there helping me put this race car back together, and you know, I think we got it back together good enough to get into the feature and move forward.
Any apprehension that something might fail again?
No, I'm going to try to get it maybe a little warm-up lap, and you know, everything's new again, and you know, I think with this KNC drywall Terry Hannigan Racing Sprinter, we'll get it done and we'll get to the front.
Randy Hannigan's in the feature regularly here, Ralph.
Coming up Sunday night on TNN, it's the IHRA Summit Drag Racing Series. Not only will you see the drag racing standards of Top Fuel, Funny Car, and the Pro Stockers, but you'll see the wild Pro Mods and the 200-mile-an-hour Nitro Harleys. It's IHRA Summit Drag Racing Sunday night at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, right here on TNN. Well, Randy Hannigan's about set to go, and so are we with the B feature. So while they get the cars ready behind the push trucks and set to go, we'll take care of some business. We'll be right back.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
He was all wrong for you. That guy was a freak.
We're back at the 40th anniversary Amoco Knoxville Nationals. They say that here there's not a bad seat in the house. Well, I can tell you that some are a little bit better than others, and they have the $1 million seat right in the end of the fourth story of the huge National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Let's go down to Dave Argabright.
Well, Steve, Greg Hodnett has a tough assignment, 18th in the B. Greg, what can you do to improve your position? Any special tricks?
Well, I mean, we got to get a good start. That's the first thing. But the track's so fast, it's going to be really difficult to get up there. But we're just going to try to go where somebody's not, and hopefully we get up there.
He's as confident as a guy can be, 18th in the B. Bobby?
Terry McCarl's another guy with a lot of local track knowledge starting in the back. And Terry, what do you think of your chances here to get in the top four?
Well, we're planning on going to the front, but it's a loaded field, just like it always is at the Nationals. They pay a lot of money to win, and when you win it, you earn it. So we're just going to go out and try to get to the front and do our best. It's going to be a dogfight.
Terry promoted a big race on Monday night that supported the Gum Out Series, Ralph.
It's a huge event, and everybody turns out. Terry is a fantastic promoter as well as a very, very talented sprint car driver, and he's really kind of raising the bar for some of these other promoters. Way to go, Terry. Everybody thinks he's doing a wonderful job. Well, we're going to come right back. We're just about set for that B feature.
These are the hymns you remember and love. Songs of faith and inspiration. Heartland Music presents 101 Best Loved Hymns. Now you can have all your favorite hymns sung by the world's greatest choirs.
This is my story. This is my song.
101 Best Loved Hymns on 3 CDs or 3 cassettes. You'll cherish these beautiful hymns forever. This music restores your spirit and renews your faith. So please call now to get the most beautiful hymns of all time.
To order, call 1-800-839-8844. That's 1-800-839-8844. Use your credit card or send check or money order for only $24.98 for 3 cassettes or $29.98 for 3 CDs, plus $4.95 shipping to 101 Hymns, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia.
ECW Wrestling in the Thrill Zone on TNN. Tommy Dreamer blisters Scotty Anton, defending ECW against the network. Steve Corino needs a little help from his friends to defeat Jerry Lynn. And Little Guido finds something that Mikey really doesn't like. Wrestling like you've never seen. ECW Wrestling, Friday at 8 Eastern, part of Thrill Zone Friday on TNN.
For 40 years, the best sprint car drivers in the world and their teams have been coming to the Marion County Fairgrounds to try to lay claim to the ultimate bragging right, champion of the Knoxville Nationals. WrenchHead.com, with millions of brand name auto parts and accessories to choose from. It's easy to prove you're a wrench head. Are you a wrench head? WrenchHead.com, parts online all the time. And here we go with your Mopar starting grid for the B feature. Don Dowd won the B scramble last night. Randy Hannigan, is that car right? We'll find out. Row 2, Gary Wright, one of the toughest ever, and Randy Anderson out of Iowa. Row 3, Randy Rockhold from Illinois, and Peter Murphy, one of the best from down under in Australia. Row 4, Jimmy Carr filling in for the injured Brooke Tatnall. Next to him, Skip Jackson in the 53K. Row 5, Lance DeWeese, one of the Pennsylvania Posse, and Danny Smith, 5 feature wins for that car this year. Row 6, the 2L of Ed Lynch out of Pennsylvania, and Danny Wood and the 21W. Kenny Jacobs, Mouse, second in the 91 Nationals, is in the 6X, and Tim St. Arnold alongside from Des Moines. Chad Kemena in the 15K, and Terry McCarl, the reigning track champ. Row 9 is Stevie Smith and Greg Hodnett. Row 10 is Larry Neighbors and Jeff Matrison, and the 2 cars out of the C feature, Hall and Fur, come alongside, tagging the back end of the show. Doug Clark has the green flag in hand. For green. Everybody gets out of 2, fine, and down into 3 just perfectly. Stevie Smith slowing down to that Ingersoll Rand number 19. Oh, Brad, he started so deep in the field, we weren't sure if he was going to make it from 17th already. The number 19 is slowing down and pulling to the inside of the racetrack. Don Dowd leads it. Randy Hannigan is behind him, but Stevie doesn't make it off the racetrack, and the yellow comes out, and Stevie's wife is devastated.
Well, whatever it is, I think he thinks that it can either be fixed quickly. He pulled up here on the front straightaway. Maybe he thinks maybe it just jumped out of gear. It's hard to tell at this time, but he might have tried to get in the pits if he didn't think it couldn't be fixed. To see what happens here.
Steve Evans?
Well, from my perch here, I was looking at the back end of the car as it went down the back straight, and there was fire coming out of the collectors on both sides of the header system. So whatever was happening, it was bad. Possibly a broken timing gear or an ignition problem. But, Brad, it was misfiring on, it appeared to be all cylinders.
Well, a lot of times when they're out of gear, they'll blubber fuel out, you know, as the headers as they come into the pits. But it looks like he is headed back toward his pit stall.
Could they have wires crossed on the engine or something of that nature? That's,
Boy,
one of the reports maybe coming up out of the pits.
Boy, that's pretty rare for him to cross spark plug wires. That'd be a major miscue if that's the case. But he is going back to the work area. There's the crew.
Circuit City aerial platform watching down from high in the sky. Now, the regulation is, and it looks like they're checking the spark plug.
That's exactly what they're looking at. Just it must be banging and.
Devin DeLucio, crew member, longtime crew member with Stevie Smith right there. That's Stevie's dad leaning into the cockpit, Steve Smith. The original Black Bandit.
You know, it's times like these, I mean, I said it's really rare if this would happen, and it's the Knoxville Nationals, and sometimes fluke deals happen. That's the magneto back there. He's trying to reach. Sometimes the magneto will spin or turn. If it's not tight enough, it'll spin and throw the timing way off, and maybe that's what they're trying to check.
Not only cramp quarters, but very, very hot parts at this point to work with. Bobby Gerald.
And that is Devin DeLucio. You see his hands in there right now. No gloves on, despite the cramp quarters and the heat, trying to get it done. Steve Smith, the father for Stevie, is standing right here. And Steve, did you get a good look at it? What's wrong?
We just pulled the wire off the mag. I don't know if it's a switch or what it is. Never had that problem before.
All right, so Stevie Smith is away. Will it fire? That's the question right now, guys.
When he says he pulled the wire off, they're basically just disconnecting the kill switch. Again, we've talked about no starters. These cars just have an on and off switch, a simple toggle switch. Sometimes those switches go bad or they short out inside. They jerk the wire off, and sometimes that'll cure the problem.
So Stevie now rolls to the back of the field, hustling to try to catch up to the field. They're coming off a 4 going green.
On the bottom is going for the lead. They didn't didn't get a chance to work on the race setup with that car. You know that because they had to thrash just to get it back together. So they guessed on the setup, and it looks really fast.
A lot of courage on the part of Randy Hannigan in that black 1X to run it wide open down there into turn 1, not knowing if that car is really back together properly.
Well, these are outlaw sprint car drivers, and this is kind of routine for them to get crashed and throw that thing back together, gray tape, wire, whatever it takes to get it back on the racetrack.
Don Trout working the outside in the white number 1M. Hannigan, the Hurricane out of California from San Jose on the bottom in the black 1X. 4 cars will come out of this event to the A feature tonight. Hannigan slips back a little bit. He runs the bottom. Trout's up top. Brad, take a look at the racetrack. Does it look like one part's coming in better than the other?
Well, again, it's real shiny getting into one on the top, but I think what happened there on the restart, it takes a lap or two for the top to get your momentum going, and that's what Drow did after 2 or 3 laps. He got that momentum going, and it was able to get back around Randy. But Randy's got to be really happy after what happened, you know, crashing that car. He's going to be happy with the top 4. He doesn't care to win this thing. He just wants to finish in the top 4 and get the start at the back of that A main.
And give them a little more time to work on that race car. That looks like the V12, the working V12 of Greg Honda and Guy Forbrick, the crew chief on that car. That car's running back in 13th right now. That's a frustrated team right now of Guy Forbrick and Greg Honda. Jimmy Vassar from the Kart IndyCar FedEx World Series, one of the owners of that team, and Craig hustling that car around the best of his abilities. They just can't seem to get their deal running right now.
Frustrated is the right word there, Ralph. They've been very just things have just not gone their way. All kinds of things, weird things happening.
Back to the lead pack here, and the fight for the front. Hannigan on the bottom, Trout up top, side by side, battling it out for the lead. And in one corner, one guy has the lead. The next corner, the other guy has the lead as they get around Ed Lynch. Oh, look at Trout trying to nose up in there in that white one.
If Randy took the lead down the front straight when there's a lap car in his line, he had to go up into the middle and try to search for another line, and it worked pretty well for him, but he went right back to the bottom in 3 and 4.
Now they start working lap traffic as well with 14 laps to go. We'll see whose hand this plays into.
Boy, Randy's just pulling away at this point. I think it pays like $5,000 just to start the A main. So these top 4 cars get into the A main. It's $5,000 if they don't finish a lap.
Danny Wood trying to work his way up through the field right now. He sits in 7th. And he needs to get a couple more spots. Wood about to probably lock up this year's Kevin Gobrek Rookie of the Year award with the Benzo World of Outlaws. He's battling with the 88 of Lance DeWeese. They're fighting it out for 7th right now.
Boy, at least DeWeese just shot by him on the outside, then moves back to the bottom down in 3 and 4.
Lance in that yellow 88H. Now, here we go with Hannigan.
Lapping Kenny Jacobs. Wow.
Kenny Jacobs all the way back to 18th. That $5,000 or so that this pays to win to take the start at the back of the A feature, Brad, is more than a lot of sprint car races pay to win.
Exactly. You know, just taking the green flag, like we said, in that A main's $5 grand. This is how big the purse is for the Knoxville Nationals.
The 0-2 and the 0 battling it out. That's Manny Rockhold in the black car up top, and the 0, the white car, is Peter Murphy. They're fighting things out right now for 5th. It's Hannigan, Drought, Anderson, and Gary Wright in the top 4 spots. Those would all be transfer positions. There's Randy Hannigan. Boy, the Hurricane looks good, Bobby Gerald.
Yeah, he is. And Randy Hannigan is so serious about racing that he has decided to relocate to Pittsboro, Indiana. He's actually uprooting from California. His car right now, they think, was as close to 100% as they could get it. And Randy, of course, no stranger to Nationals A mains. He has been a former National Rookie of the Year, and we're getting a yellow flag, Ralph.
Yes, we are. We've got a car coming to a stop, coming off of turn number 4. Looks like the 7S, Tim St. Arnold, from here in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, the home of Tim St. Arnold, and that car comes to a stop. Hannigan moving to Pittsboro, Indiana from California. I can think of somebody else who did that once.
Yeah, the famous Jeff Gordon lived in Pittsboro, Indiana.
Bobby Gerald?
Well, here's Stevie Smith. Stevie, I know this is awfully disappointing. Not the way you wanted to have your Nationals go. Ultimately, what'd you guys figure out here?
well, something happened to the car. I didn't want it to end that way. I wanted to, you know, say, well, I tried my best and I couldn't get in. But that's the first time I can remember this whole year that we've had some kind of trouble where we couldn't stay racing. Something happened in ignition or the fuel pump, cable or something. The motor just quit running.
Well, we're sorry to see you out of it, Stevie.
Okay, thanks.
Dave Argabright?
Well, Bobby, this is the yellow that Randy Hannigan did not want. He had a comfortable lead. Now Don Drought is going to be able to pull up much closer and may make a run on that restart. Brad Doty, that's probably what's going through Randy Hannigan's mind, isn't it?
Well, it sure is, but Peter Murphy is the one that could benefit from this. He was out of a transfer first spot. He wanted to see this yellow.
That's right. Peter Murphy from Australia was sitting in 5th. Now he'll get a chance to take a shot at Gary Wright in the 9W, who holds down the 4th and final transfer spot. While they clean things up, we'll take care of some business so we can show you all of the green flag racing of tonight's B feature. Stay with us. We're coming back to Knoxville.
When you're a big-time racer, it's just fame, fortune, and beautiful women. A pretty cool package. Just like a new Luxair air conditioning system for your home with high-efficiency performance to slash your operating costs up to 40%, plus complete reliability, no matter how hot it gets outside. Okay, it's not fame, fortune, and beautiful women, but it is pretty cool, huh? Find your Luxair dealer fast at 1-800-LUXAIRE. 1-800-LUXAIR.
Can't get enough of TNN Outdoors on the weekend? Now you can bring the experts home with TNN Outdoors, the magazine. For over 15 years, TNN Outdoors has been the home of the experts, bringing you the highest-rated outdoor programming on TV. TNN Outdoors, the magazine, offers cutting-edge tips, tactics, and secrets available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Each issue uncovers great how-tos, products, and destinations of the pros, sneak peeks at your favorite outdoor shows, and behind-the-camera action that never makes it on the air. TNN's Tracy Bird brings you in-depth interviews with your favorite celebrities as well as hunters and fishermen you've come to know on TNN Outdoors. Order now and receive 50% off the cover price and a chance to win the outdoor trip of a lifetime. Call toll-free 888-760-3337 and make TNN Outdoors last all year long.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
He was all wrong for you. That guy was a freak.
The 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals are being brought to you live on TNN Sports by Amoco Ultimate. You expect more from the leader, and you get it. We're back to the Marion County Fairgrounds, and that's the look from our Circuit City aerial platform down on the 40-plus thousand folks packed into the grandstands here in this beautiful half mile. Well, during tonight's 40th run of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, TNN Sports offers a special event to celebrate a free live webcast right from the center of sprint car racing. Fire up your internet browser and log on now to TNNRacing.com to experience the first ever live webcast of the Knoxville Nationals. The grandstands are sold out here, but we have plenty of online seats to all the action at TNNRacing.com. 6 streaming video channels will capture all the dirt slinging action live and give you an in-your-face look at the Winged Warriors digging for positions in the big buck win. Get ready to smell the methanol and chew some dirt in the comfort of your own home at TNNRacing.com. It's your all-access online pit pass to the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Bobby Gerald?
Guys, check this out. Right now, there are no Australian drivers in tonight's feature event. So Peter Murphy in the 0M is carrying the hopes of just about everybody down under, along with Skip Jackson. Those are the 2 guys that are the last chance right now for the down under crowd to get a driver into the Nationals feature.
And that would be big as we get set to go green. Hannigan leads him to the line, trying to separate himself from Don Drought and the rest as Drought goes up high, gets around some of the backmark cars, and sets sail after Hannigan. Here's the fight for that transfer. Murphy, the Australian, on the bottom in the 0 white car. Up top, Gary Wright, one of the best ever, Brad, battling it out with him in that 9.
Gary Wright didn't give it up very easy, that's for sure. And you said in the opener how good Gary Wright is. He runs a lot of different circuits, and he didn't let Peter Murphy just slip by there.
Gary Wright doesn't let anybody just slide by, but Peter Murphy, don't count him out. The Australians are some of the best sprint car drivers going, and Peter Murphy is one of the best from there as he fights to get that traction. Dave Argabright?
Well, Gary Wright is a seasoned racer who has beaten the Outlaws at tracks in Texas before, but tonight he knows he wants that A-main. He has really got his elbows up.
Boy, does he. Gary told me earlier this week that he has won everything he's been at as far as different sanctioning bodies except for an outlaw race yet this year, and he plans on getting one soon. If he wants one tonight, he's got to get to that A-main, Brad, so that means he's got to hang on in front of Peter Murphy.
Yeah, and then you can see Danny Wood there in the blue 21 coming up to get into that battle also.
Yeah, that Pepsi back 21W is in the hunt as we go back to the fight for the lead.
Now look how much ground Drought gains on Hannigan entering the corner when it's slick like that. Hannigan's crew is there.
Yep. How about that bottom? He's really bouncing through that bottom in that black number 1.
Yeah, a little bit of rough down there. Plus, he's trying to get the left front up on that berm just a little bit to plant that right rear tire, but you get too much of it, it can turn the car sideways. But Drought fighting back as we get the white flag there. You can see it waving.
1 to go. 4 final spots are available in the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Who's going? Hannigan and Drought. They should both transfer, but who's going to get the better starting spot? To the line. Hannigan gets the win. Drought takes second. Third place is going to go to Anderson. Fourth in the final transfer to Gary Wright. So Gary Wright in that number 9 lives up to his living legend of being one of the toughest ever, and he will transfer to another Amoco Knoxville National.
Yeah, when Murphy got beside him there, he got his elbows up and moved that race car around on the racetrack and found a faster line, was able to hold on to 4th.
So 4 cars have made it on. The field is set for the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. 30 laps with $100,000 up for grabs in just a few minutes. Hannigan, Drought, Randy Anderson, and Gary Wright are the final 4 cars to make it into the A-main. Bobby?
Jim, are you proud of your son Randy there after that run?
Yep, he did a good job after that wreck. You know, anything could have happened that thing. They couldn't have put it together right or something, and it would have been all over.
And now he's here in the A-main. Dave Argabright getting in position right now to talk to your son.
Well, we're jumping right over here. Randy, we saw the earlier accident. How much did it affect your race car?
Well, I mean, not really too much. The car was really good. My guys did a really good job putting the car back together, and I don't know, probably about 8 laps to go, the hood come loose and start blowing up, and I couldn't catch my right line getting in the corners, and I think that's why he caught me. But, you know, I mean, nonetheless, my crew did a good job and everybody helping. And let's see if we can get this KNC drivable Terry Hannigan car a little further forward, you know, and I got to thank Eagle Chassis. He helped me out here when we had everything bent up. He came down and got everything straightened up for me. And Gertie Engines, you know, the power there pulled me through.
Well, it's a little bit bent, but he's still going to smile and get into that A-main.
Well, I guess the question now becomes, what do they have to do to that car to see if he can't move up through the A?
Well, it's going to be really tough route with this A-main of cars that we have from all over the world and the best in the business. With a good straight race car, it's tough, let alone one that's damaged a little bit, maybe bent up.
But not impossible.
No, it's never impossible. And again, these outlaw guys don't give up.
And that's exactly what we're going to do when we come back. We're staying wide open till they wave that $100,000 check. Can Randy Hannigan continue to march his way to $100 grand? We'll find out.
I think that everyone is looking for a purpose in life. First thing off, I want an education. I want to learn something new, something important. I want to take center stage, take charge. See the places that made history. Surround myself with interesting people. I want to be anything but average. I want to learn more about computers, start a career. The bottom line is, I just want to make a difference.
You have plans. Let the Air Force help you get them off the ground.
Challenges are a good thing.
The same passion and dedication that drive our racing programs also drive the way we create parts for high-performance vehicles and high-performing vehicles like yours. Mopar, great parts for great vehicles on the track and in your driveway. That's the Mopar difference.
This week on NASCAR Garage, we'll talk team management, examine shock rules for super speedways, plot the pivotal points of a chassis, and more.
It's all on NASCAR Garage this weekend on TNN Sports.
Don't let old deck boards give you a rotten time. Install Ultra Deck from Menards and don't pay till next year. It looks like cedar but won't rot, split, or warp. And it never needs painting or staining. Just 99 cents a lineal foot. Protect patio furniture and other metal surfaces with Rust-Oleum Stops Rust paint. Tintable in over 100 brilliant colors. $3.48 a quart after $2 rebate. Brush on big savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
You'll feel the thunder as the World of Outlaws Come Out Series pour into the Husker Auto Group Eagle Lake play. Don't miss all the high-speed excitement with drivers like Greg Delancey, Jeff Shepard, James Stewart, and further more World of Outlaw drivers from across America bring Outlaw Sprint Car Racing back to the Eagle High Bank. The Husker Auto Group Eagle Lake play, where nothing beats being there.
Coming Monday, August 14th, it's the World of Outlaws Come Out Series. See 30 or more World of Outlaw drivers fresh from the Knoxville Nationals.
The Husker Auto Group Eagle Lake play, rock.
Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond D.
If you like gritty, in-your-face excitement, then you've got to have Sling & Dirt, the newest World of Outlaws action-packed home video. Call 1-800-428-6993 to get wheel-to-wheel action and the best tumbles, stumbles, and crashes. Dirt's flying as the Wing Warriors push it to the limit and beyond. Call 1-800-428-6993 to own Sling & Dirt for only $14.95. There's never been so much outlaw action, so call and order your copy now. That's Sling & Dirt. Call now or order online at DiamondTeamSports.com, your interactive pit pass.
Welcome back. We're just about set for the running of the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals. The final 4 slots have been filled, and now it's just a matter of getting the cars out onto the track and ready to go racing. Well, if you're looking for action on Wednesday nights, you've come to the right place. There's Magnificent 7 at 8, 18 Wheels of Justice at 9, and Dead Man's Gun at 10 p.m. Don't miss a whole night of action every Wednesday starting at 8 Eastern on TNN's Action Wednesday. Well, you know, if you think Santa Claus gets a lot of letters around Christmas time, man, Brad Doty's email site has been absolutely stuffed to the brim. So much so that we've had to shut the site down so we can just get caught up on everything. So if you're sorry we can't get to them all, we literally had to just shut it down. But Brad, here's the next question. How does the adjustment of the top wing change the angle of attack? And that comes from Bill Harbin.
Okay, well, the rear strut is actually leaned forward when the wing's all the way forward. As the driver pulls the lever and the wing starts back, it also raises the back of the wing up. Right there, you can see that angle goes straighter. It raises the back up of the wing and puts more weight to the rear tires.
And they can adjust it hydraulically from inside the cockpit.
Absolutely. It runs off the power steering pump, and like I said, they pull it back, and the farther they move it back, the tighter the race car gets as the racetrack gets slicker.
Bobby Gerald.
Well, here's Steve Kinzer, who is going to be starting outside of row number 6. Steve, you're a little too tight in qualifying the other night. That's what you said has got you back so far. Can you do it from that far back?
Well, you know, we was hoping the track would open up and get a little bit wider up toward the fence. It's going to be hard to pass on. And probably an outside chance is all you're going to get from where we're starting at. I mean, you're going to have to work on everybody so hard. If a track was opened up where you could have maybe a middle and a top and a bottom would be all right. But it's very doubtful, but we're going to try to do the best we can.
He'll put on a show, Dave Argabright. He did it from 14th in 1995.
Well, you never count him out. Another guy you can't count out is this guy, Mark Kinzer. Now, you did it last year. Here we are just a few minutes before the 8. What do you need to do to win this thing?
Well, first of all, we got to get around the front row starters. The guys are pretty competitive this year. Danny and Schatz there put up pretty good pace. I think this is one of the best pole struggles, battles I've ever seen. 2 guys tied and a guy there about a point or 2 behind. We'll get this Mopar parts car up front if we can.
Now, your dad was out there walking the racetrack. You just walked it. What'd you see that you liked?
Well, we liked a lot of stuff. Here at the Knoxville, the gumbo's looking pretty good. There's not one problem in the groove right now. We got a real nice bottom and a real nice top. It ought to be one heck of a race tonight.
And we wish you well. Guys, I do not remember Mark Kinzer any more confident than he is right now.
I think he's been getting more and more confident. He's gotten past the point of just dealing with, I got to win. Mark has really matured as a race car driver, and Brad, he is one of the best. Yes, Carl gives him a great car, but he is one of the best drivers out there.
And he sure is, and his confidence is, even when they're not running well, he still is confident, knows he can come back.
That's right. Bobby Gerald?
Danny Lasowski getting ready for another Knoxville Nationals. What's going through your mind right now?
We're just deciding here what we need to do for keeping this thing loose enough so we can take off, but you still have it tight enough at the end. We got a great race car, a great race team. We're just going to hope for the best, see if we can't bring the Speed Packers home in victory lane.
Well, and Ralph Shaheen, there you have it, from the man they call the Catfish. Will he be on the bottom tonight?
Well, that's going to be interesting to find out, Bobby, because that team had to make an engine change. He wanted to run a particular engine that they ran last night, and it blew up on him, basically. Here's a Knoxville nugget for you about the drivers who have made the most A-main appearances here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Sammy's got the king by 1.
Time Life Video presents Presidential Bloopers. The funniest moments of the American presidency.
2 young men, attractive, able alcoholics, workaholics.
The president has to be very, very careful with his words. Masayasu Okamura. Okamura. Oh, damn it.
We're very honored to be back in San Francisco. We're here for a great convention. San Diego, sure. Yeah.
We're trying to get unemployment to go up, and I think we're going to succeed.
What a waste it is to lose one's mind or not to have a mind is being very wasteful.
Start laughing with presidential bloopers for just $9.99. Then check out other bloopers videos that you can't buy anywhere else.
Princess Anne, playing it safe.
Keep only the ones you want. Cancel anytime. These videos are not in stores, so call now. And start with presidential bloopers for just $9.99.
I feel right at home in this gymnasium.
Get the funniest bloopers ever. Presidential bloopers.
Call 1-800-393-0808 to order presidential bloopers for only $9.99. That's 1-800-393-0808. Or send $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Presidential Bloopers, Department 3, Richmond, Virginia, 23280. Call now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. I'm in the Hall of Fame. You can see me through the glass there. The Van Gorp Group, again, has offered their hospitality, and I appreciate it very much. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald. The clock is ticking to the richest dirt track race ever, Bobby.
Boy, is it ever, and the tension's starting to mount. Here's Dale Blaney, who won $50,000 at the King's Royal. Dale, how you feeling right now about your chances at Knoxville?
It's as good as I got, you know, as good as I've ever had here starting 5th. So I feel pretty good. As long as we can hang in there for a while and see what happens with lap traffic, we'll be all right.
Dale Blaney the other night warmed up the fastest, Dave Argebrecht.
Well, Bobby, you're right. It is very tense right now. Donnie Schatz, outside front row, your best starting spot ever. You're on Goodyear's. He's on Hoosier's. Danny Lasowski. Who has the advantage?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a faithful Goodyear man. I think Goodyear's got a better tire. You know, they might not take off as good, but the last lap's the one that's we want to win, and we're on a little harder tire than everyone else. So hopefully we get a little heat in it and come out front of this deal.
And we wish you luck. Guys, tires may well be a big issue.
How important is this race, not just to the teams, but to the manufacturers? Goodyear, and this massive tire war they've got going on with Hoosier this year, flew in some special tires for last night to test here to get ready for tonight. Sammy and the Goodyear guys ran it last night, and Brad, they're pretty excited about this new tire.
Well, Sammy Swindell is the one that helped develop and bring Goodyear into sprint car racing probably 20 years ago. They've come out with a new left rear, Ralph, that basically they've run the same left rear construction for the last 8 or 10 years. They've come out with basically a floppier tire, similar, well, about the same as the right rear, only it's smaller around, but the same construction. They think it gets a better footprint on the racetrack and will accelerate quicker off the corners.
Yeah, they think, Sammy says it gives it a longer footprint as that car goes through the corner, which means it gives it more tread to launch the car. And this isn't just for the starts of the race, but when you're going through the corners and you get that car turned and you want to rocket down these long, fast straightaways, you get that good drive. Sammy says that can make a huge difference here tonight.
Well, and the tire actually grows, too, under acceleration. The G-forces stretch that tire out, and it literally changes the gear, gives them more straightaway speed.
And they just flew those tires in last night, or yesterday, just to try them out. Doing a little siping.
Little siping, put little razor cuts in it to let the heat out of the tire.
Another Knoxville Nationals nugget for you. Top 5 in lap sled from 61 to 99. The Kings on top of that one. Wolfie's here as well, watching from the grandstands tonight. The great Jan Offerman, close to Brad Sargent, sits in fourth.
When you're a big-time racer, it's just fame, fortune, and beautiful women. A pretty cool package. Just like a new Luxair air conditioning system for your home, with high-efficiency performance to slash your operating costs up to 40%, plus complete reliability, no matter how hot it gets outside. Okay, it's not fame, fortune, and beautiful women, but it is pretty cool, huh? Find your Luxair dealer fast at 1-800-LUXAIRE. 1-800-LUXAIR.
TNN looks at NASCAR 2000 and multi-car versus single-car teams. Multi-car teams are not a new concept. Richard Petty and Buddy Baker were teammates in the 70s. In 1999, 9 out of the top 10 teams were multi-car operations. In fact, every race was won by a multi-car team. The advantages are overwhelming.
The biggest thing you can gain from it is in the aerodynamics, the body. When you go to the wind tunnel and learn something for one car, you're learning it for both. If you learn something in shock absorbers, if you learn it for one, you're learning for both.
Single-car teams seem to be an endangered species.
I think it's something to be somewhat concerned about. I think, obviously, we don't want to end up with just 3 or 4 car owners in NASCAR, and that could happen.
For more on NASCAR 2000, log on to country.com, your personal source for all things country.
Brought to you by Pep Boys. Cars like us, people love us.
Briefcase. Need new tires? They're 4 for $99 and 4 for $169. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Hey, Tim. Does this look like a hex nut to you?
Need expert advice? All-wheel alignment now just $34.88. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
It's gonna be a wild night, but you gotta see it to believe it. Roller Jam.
I'm the head of the Oral Authority. You can just call me Lips.
The Preaching Prophet and the Commish are on a mission to clean up the league.
Violence is not the answer.
Chester Cheeto, I'm gonna snap you like a cracker! But it just ain't gonna happen, boys, because here comes the door of doom. Roller Jam. Friday at 9, 8 Central on TNN.
Well, we're really excited here at TNN Sports of our association with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, and we know you folks at home sitting there watching it on TV love the Outlaws as much as Brad and I. So guess what? Jody and I get to work a few more shows next year. We've expanded the schedule to 18 races from the 15 we're doing this year. New stops. How about Houston Raceway Park? Look at this. Hang on, Sarver, Pennsylvania. We're coming to Lernerville. Can't wait for that. June 23rd, we're going to Eagle Raceway. We're going to go to Knoxville twice next year. We'll be there in June and we'll be there in August. And we're going to go to Texas and Charlotte twice. And we're also going to wrap things up in November, crowning a champion in Vegas. Well, Bobby Gerald is running around down in the pit area. And he has spoken to Jack Hodenshield about the chances of the Wild Child, who'll start 20th here tonight.
Well, here is Jack Hodenschild getting ready for the Knoxville Nationals, starting deep in the field. We've seen you make some good runs before. Do you have it tonight, Jack?
Yeah, I think we do. The car felt pretty good, so in hot laps, so we made a few changes, so I think we can drive up through there.
Well, the call has gone out for these guys to get out onto the racetrack. Hodenschild will be gone soon.
Jack Hodenschild getting pushed back in his new paint scheme. There's Ratbag up on the side of Darren Pittman's car. The folks at Ratbag, not only are they bringing out that new great video game, but they're also helping out the racers. And that's a very important thing. They have come up with their own point standings. Here's the Rat Bag Game point standings. This is based off of finishes on the TV shows. Right now, Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell are tied atop the leaderboard there. Hillenberg and Lasowski and Johnny Herrera round out the top 5. The Rat Bag Games Cup standings for the 2000 season with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. Dave Argabright, what do you have for us?
Well, Carl Kinzer's cars have won this race so many times, I lose count. Now, right at the last, you put a wrench on that car, made a few adjustments. What'd you do?
Well, the track's changing, and I thought I need a little more inside weight, so I put her to her. So we'll see how that Mopar got enough horsepower to pull my set up.
Where's the fast groove going to be?
Well, right now I think about the middle or the bottom, and it's definitely going to be a challenge because it's good on the bottom, good on top. So just stick her to the floor and turn left.
Pretty simple.
It's going to win.
Pretty simple instructions right there, Ralph.
And that's something that Mark Kinzer does very well. Puts it to the floor and goes for the front. Johnny Herrera's got a new paint scheme, and he's also got a camera for us on his Eagle chassis, powered by that Westmar motor. Advanced Auto Parts bringing us these shots tonight. Danny Dude Lasowski's got one for us as well. He's got the exact same setup, chassis and engine-wise, as Herrera. Donnie Schatz is going to have that outside front row view. He's got a Gertie engine stuck into a Maxim chassis. He's got Kenny Woodruff spinning the wrenches. That's going to be important. Coming up through the back of the field, this will be exciting. A Maxim chassis and one of Steve's own creations housed in the belly of that beast. The 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals. We are just seconds away from the green flag.
The biggest news in motor oil since motor oil.
Let me show you something that really surprised me. Look what happened to the other leading motor oils after a 128-hour test designed to simulate severe driving conditions. But this is newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base after the same test. I'm no mechanic, but I know which one I'd rather put in my car. These, I don't even know what I'd do with these.
For protection so strong you can see the difference.
Go to AutoZone and ask for details about the Pennzoil Oil Change Special.
I like competition. I want to make it to the Olympics, fly higher than 6'10", get a higher education and learn more about life, see places my dad told me about. I want to show people that I can fix anything, listen to a CD of my own music, make my own decisions, make myself known, be a hero to someone.
You have plans. Let the Air Force help you get them off the ground.
I want to ride a motorcycle across the desert.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
This I call the Young Family Special. It's reliable, it's practical, but got a little edge to it. This car says family. Follow moi. Check this out. Huh? Huh?
There's only one seat.
Keeps the family closer.
This isn't safe.
Of course it's safe. It's safe with a little edge. Edgy safe, I like to call it.
The Colonel's Truck Accessories Nationals, August 20th on TNN.
TNN Sports live coverage of the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals is being brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. 170 cars entered this year's 40th running of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals. 24 of them have made it to the starting grid, and they are now doing the traditional 4 wide in front of the packed grandstands here at Knoxville.
Look at the flashbulbs, Ralph. People ask what makes Knoxville so special. I mean, these drivers right now, their adrenaline rush is so high right now.
Look at the Queen down on the front stretch in her long gown trying to snap a picture of the 4 wide.
In the mud.
In the mud in high heels. That'll tell you how big this is to everybody that comes here to Knoxville in August. So, which 24 cars have made it to the starting grid? Well, here's your Mopar starting grid. Danny Lasowski's won more races and more championships here than anybody. He and Donnie Schatz are on the front row. Could Craig Delansky be a sleeper? Can Mark Kinzer get his 3rd national championship? Could Dale Blaney back in row 3 get another big paycheck? He claimed $50,000 already this year at Eldora. Jeff Shepard and Johnny Herrera back in row 4. Sammy Swindell still looking for his elusive 2nd Nationals crown. And Paul McMahon is going to come for a ride through the field, tagging with Steve Kinzer. Can he find another one? Darren Pittman and Joey Saldana in row 7. Joey's dad won this race back in the 70s. Shawn Michael and Andy Hillenberg in row 8. Byron Reed and Kelly Kinzer, the famous clan, back there in row 9. Tim Schaefer alongside of the Wild Child and Randy Hannigan. Just how well can that car hang together for 30 laps as they chase that 100 grand? Steve Evans, we're getting set.
We are indeed. My goosebumps are doubling in size. Think of it this way. There's 24 cars out there. 22 of them have engines based on the Chevrolet small block. 2 are Mopars from Daimler Chrysler, and the 2 Mopars are in the top 5 for the start. Dave Argabright? Well, Steve, your goosebumps, everybody's goosebumps are doubling in size and quantity. The emotions here in the pits are so intense, so raw. Boy, if you could bottle this up, man, could you sell it. Brad, do you remember those days?
Oh, absolutely. It's nothing like it.
And folks, if you think that $100,000 is important, there's one other thing, the trophy. And if you think we're kidding about that, wait till you see the emotion on the drivers' faces at the end of the race. The trophy is what they want. Here we go. The start of the 40th annual Amoco Knoxville Nationals, coming your way out of turn 4, live on TNN Sports from Knoxville. We're green. Away, and the lead as they come off the 4.
Wow, Mark is fast off the bottom. Right around there, you heard Carl say put lefter in that car. It's more lefter weight, that's more lefter drive, and boy, is it paying off right now. Schatz battling back on the outside, as you can see from Danny's in-car.
Donnie Schatz takes the lead as Steve Kinzer comes charging up through the field. From deep in the field, you go on board as the King works his way up the front straightaway.
On these onboard cameras, you can see the glare in the racetrack. Those are the very slick spots, the brown, darker spots. That's where moisture is. They try to aim those rear tires into that to get a good bite.
And the King can't waste a lot of time. He's got to start passing cars. Donnie Schatz has a new crew chief in Kenny Woodruff, who has won this race before, including with Dave Blaney. And boy, is Kenny Woodruff one of the best in the business when it comes to setups. He's got a good one for Schatz.
Well, he's good with setups, but he's known for being hard on his drivers or riding his drivers, keeping them pumped up. And it's got Schatz's confidence up right now. He knows when he gets in that race car, it's probably going to be fast. And he might even in the back of his mind know if he doesn't run hard, he's going to get chewed out. But we got a nasty crash.
Big crash involving Steve Kinzer. The king of the Outlaws gets into it with Jeff Shepard in turn number 1.
And Dale Blaney is on the bottom of that pile, I think, Ralph, underneath the...
There's a 3rd car in there. That's Shepard crawling out. And there is the 3rd car of Blaney.
I believe that was Shepard. That's Shepard.
Yeah,
there's,
that's
yeah.
Shepard in the red and white
There's
suit.
Dale climbing out right there.
Dale Blaney is out of the car. Looking for Steve Kinzer.
Okay,
there he is, moving in the cockpit of the car. And sometimes, Brad, when you're in there, even if you're okay, it can be very tricky getting out.
Oh, it is. These seats have double wraparound, which means the chest is, there's a wraparound of the seat to keep them tight in the car, and then sometimes it's real tight and it's hard to get out. Some of that wing and stuff is bent down around. Hit the crew's there, there's no fuel, there's no risk of fire, so they're going to take the time and make sure that he gets out safely.
All right, let's take a look at the replay of what happened going into turn. There's the King, gingerly crawling out of the car. And Brad, it takes you a few minutes to get your composure as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you can see, Steve is shaking up there. It was a hard hit.
All right, there's Kinzer and Shepard.
Oh, Shepard spins.
And Dale Blaney gets into him.
Okay, there's Steve in the slick part. He turned to avoid it. And he actually gets up, bicycle, hit the wall.
and he rolls over the wildest, and he was doing what motorcycle racers call basically a safety slide, trying to get out of the way. Now you're on board with the king. Get ready. Hang on.
Right there. He sees him in trouble. It's real right the slick part of the racetrack. Oh, man.
Wow, what a ride.
Man, that hurts, too. Boy, that jar, it's such a jolt. There's Dale Blaney. Now, at this point, he's concerned with the race car. Can we get it back out?
Well, I was just going to say, Shepard and Blaney didn't really go through a wild ride. Their cars might be fixable.
Well, Shepard, from the last few we had, it looked like the front end was tore off pretty bad. Possibly the front torsion tube was bent and things like that. Dale's car, we don't know.
Bobby Gerald?
Well, guys, it's interesting. We walked up to the edge of the racetrack. No worries about how Steve Kinser's feeling because he ran down. He said, Bobby, tell my guys I need a top wing and a Jacobs ladder, and I'll get back in this race. So Steve Kinser's already thinking about trying to get in the back of the field, restart, and go back to racing.
Perseverance, Brad. We talked about it at the beginning of the show.
Patch these things back together, whatever it takes, get back into this A main.
Hey, Randy Hannigan got through the B. Steve Kinser could maybe win this thing. What a story that would be. The Kings assessing the damage. We're going to take care of some business. He is going to as well. We'll be right back.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
He was all wrong for you. That guy was a freak.
ECW Wrestling in the Thrill Zone on TNN. Tommy Dreamer blisters Scotty Anton, defending ECW against the network. Steve Corino needs a little help from his friends to defeat Jerry Lynn. And Little Guido finds something that Mikey really doesn't like. Wrestling like you've never seen. ECW Wrestling, Friday at 8 Eastern, part of Thrill Zone Friday on TNN.
Yeah, show me the money, I'm telling you. Oh boy.
It's the age-old test of man against beast. Don't miss Championship Bull Riding from Charlotte, Sunday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN.
Durst Motor Company is a proud sponsor of World of Outlaws sprint car driver Mark Kinser.
Join me in the winner's circle at Durst. Their winning attitude allows you to save time, money, and hassles.
Durst Motor Company is family-owned and operated just like Mark's racing team and has been serving the Lincoln and surrounding area with over 50 years of combined sales experience. Mark, Tom, and Phil invite everyone to race on in for savings. Bank financing and limited warranties available.
Remember, you're a winner at Durst.
137 O Street, Lincoln, USA.
When I buy grapes for Hy-Vee, it's like I'm buying them for my own kids.
At Hy-Vee, we actually get the grapes from the grower shipper. They cut them off the vine. We have them back to the Midwest in 3 days and into your store right away. We want you to take them home, take a bite, and say, wow, that's the sweetest grape I've ever had. I guarantee you, when you buy grapes at Hy-Vee, they're going to be the highest quality and the sweetest grapes available.
You're on board with Steve Kinser's Quaker State number 11 getting pushed back to the pit area where that anxious crew is going to be awaiting your arrival with parts ready to go. Now, how did we get in this situation? Let's take a look at the replay here as they went down into turn number 1. Jeff Shepard loses it. Dale Blaney clips him in the Amoco 93. Kinser slides to avoid him, but he takes the wildest ride.
Yeah, it's a real slick getting into one. As there, Sammy almost got into it too, but Steve tried to turn the car to drive down off the cushion. It's just so slick, the car turned around backwards on him, and he had no control at that point.
And you can see the parts from Shepard's car laying on the racetrack as well. Let's check in with Dave Argerbright.
Dale Blaney, you say you're all right. We're very glad of that. What happened?
I don't know. 4 car just got turned dead around in front of me there. I had the 28 and the 4 right in front of me there, and I was going to split them down going into 1, and all of a sudden, 4 sitting there dead backwards in front of me. So I don't know what happened.
Is your car repairable? Is there any chance at it?
It depends on how long the red is. I mean, it didn't hurt too bad, but we'll see.
He's certainly disappointed. Bobby Gerald?
And here is Jeff Shepard. We'll find out what the story is there. Dale Blaney said he saw your car spun around backwards, and that's how his crash set up. How'd you get spun sideways, Jeff?
I think I was coming off the bottom down there, coming off turn 2. I was going pretty good right around the bottom, started picking up speed, and everything was getting better. And I was racing with Paul side by side coming down the front straightaway, and I kind of come out towards him, and we both went low into one. When we went low into one, it's kind of muddy down there, and I must have went in there too low or something, trying to keep from running into the side of him. And going into one on the bottom, I picked up some mud and spun out.
How bad is the damage?
I think it's just a front axle, top wing, and a right rear wheel. Everything looks okay otherwise.
You're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, Jeff Shepard could get back in it too if he has enough time, Ralph.
All right, Bobby, let's take one more look at it from the onboard camera. This is on board with Steve Kinzer. Just ride along and listen as you go upside down. Boy, that's vicious. To Dave Argerbright in the Kinzer pit.
Well, the King's buckling back in. His wife Dana standing here with me. Can they fix this car? They said Jacob's ladder. Anything else other than the obvious
the
wings?
Yeah. No, if they get it enough time, they can get it back out there.
Steve says he's okay.
He's okay.
Well, we're glad of that.
He's got that look in his eye, too, Brad.
Steve is tough. I mean, that guy's been around a long time, and if anything, this makes him more determined. He just, you know, he's going to get restart on the back. Look, he's back in the car. He's getting buckled in and getting himself ready. He looks like he's working on the steering box. That the bracket that holds the steering column might have broke, and he's had to change that. He's sitting in there. They're definitely doing something to the top of the steering box.
Let me ask you a question. You just went tumbling down through turns 1 and 2. You've been racing it well over 100 and some odd miles an hour. Everything's gone upside down. Now you're sitting there yelling and screaming out all these directions, trying to get your car together and focus on what's ahead of you. How do you compact that all in and make legitimate decisions?
When you everybody's got a job to do, and they kind of know what to do. Steve's focused on his steering right now. When he gets in that race car and they throw the green, that's all that matters. Go to the front.
Amazing. Bobby?
Well, here is the leader of the race, Donnie Schatz, just getting ready to get pushed off. Donnie, your thoughts so far in the early laps?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this race car's working good. Motor's running. I just got to keep her together for another 26 laps out in front, and we'll be home free.
No problem so far?
No problems. We're good to go. I think we got the right tire on here, and the race car's perfect.
Ralph? Now we got to see if he can hang in there, like he said, for 26 more laps, see if that tire in that car survive. When they talk about the tire, they're talking about that big right rear. And here's how Donnie Schatz went to the outside to get around Lasowski and Mark Kinzer coming off of turn number 2 to take the lead, which is right where we are just before the red flag. Well, on Wednesday night, make sure you check out the new episode of 18 Wheels of Justice. Federal agent Lucky Vanis brings in the bad guys with his high-speed, high-tech big rig. Check out a new 18 Wheels of Justice Wednesday night at 9 Eastern and Pacific on TNN's Action Wednesday. Well, the cars are getting pushed back out. Will Kinzer, Blaney, Shepard make it? Stay with us to find out as we return to more live coverage of the Amoco Knoxville Nationals.
Good evening. Here's a news flash.
He's outrageous. He's out of control. He's Benny Hill, television's king of comedy. Now, for the first time ever, you can own the Benny Hill Collection. The only complete edition of Benny's greatest comedy routines. Now available on home video. It's shocking. It's unforgettable. It's Benny as you've never seen him before. Call now and get Benny Hill for the feel-good price of just $9.99. Use your credit card and we'll also send you Benny's Video Spotlight, absolutely free. That's 4 full hours of Benny's Best for just $9.99. You'll get your favorite sketches and hilarious routines. Then preview other great Benny Hill videos. There's no minimum to buy. Cancel anytime. Call now and get Benny Hill for just $9.99. Order with your credit card and you'll also get Benny's Video Spotlight, absolutely free.
The complete Benny Hill collection is not available in stores, so don't wait. Call now.
Call 1-800-647-6006 to order Benny Hill for only $9.99. Use your credit card and get Benny Hill's video spotlight free. That's 1-800-647-6006. Or send $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Benny Hill, Department 4, Richmond, Virginia, 23280. Call now.
Well, this is going to be interesting because Kinzer and Shepard were ready to go, but the Outlaw officials are saying no.
You could see him waving his arms. No, no, no. They're ready to go green, and they're saying they're not letting them back out. But they can't give up because if they have a yellow, if they go green and have a yellow, these guys can still come back out.
Look at Steve Kinzer flailing his arms. He wants to get back in. Now Shepard's getting pushed off.
And that's what Steve's pointing at. He said, hey, you pushed the 4-car off. Why not me?
And Steve's crew chief, Scott Kirkin, down there screaming at everybody he can get to, including the pace truck, trying to get some help.
Well, I'm not quite sure, Ralph, why.
But the yellow is still out, so
right.
They're still thinking about this.
Well, they pushed Shepard off, and it's not right that he went and Kinzer didn't.
Right.
So they're going to have to get that straightened out. They'll probably yeah, they got the black flag. They're going to bring Shepard back in. I'll bet you anything.
Yeah.
Boy, what a shame. I guess these guys, they paced car was out. They were ready to go green before these guys were ready. And
Steve Evans?
Well, it is the Knoxville Nationals. A tremendous amount of money on the line. Tempers can flare. Sometimes you say things maybe you regret in the morning, but this is the big one, the one everybody wants to win. Remember on the start, Donnie Schatz in an interview said the Goodyear tires might be slow. Well, he and Mark Kinzer buried the Hoosier-clad Danny Lisowski on the start. Will it happen again?
Or green. On board with Donnie Schatz, and Craig Delansky has slid up. Oh, and the yellow's back out.
Now Steve can come out now. Okay, they said the reason they couldn't go out, they weren't ready when the pace car came off the track. So now what? They got the black flag.
Dave Argabright?
Well, earlier on that red, Ralph, Sammy Schwindel changed 2 shocks. Carl Kinzer raised the gear on the 5M, but Donnie Schatz, they didn't change a thing.
All right, now the King of the Outlaws gets pushed off to the cheers of this massive crowd. Bobby?
Well, now there's renewed hope for Dale Blaney and the Amoco team here at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, as the extra yellow flag has allowed them just enough time to try to get this car pushed up to the staging area. You can see the damage to the tail tank. The rear nerf isn't right, but that's just cosmetics right now. So Dale Blaney trying to get back into the show.
Oh, and well, green and yellow is waving here in Doug Clark's hands. So here comes Blaney.
And you wonder why the green and yellow, because the guys, they want them to kind of pick up speed and get going, not just come off of 4 and see the yellow and get out of the gas. The guy with these, especially the wings, when they can't see the flagman, the guys up front get out of the gas and they start stacking them up.
You can see the damage to the tail tank of that Amoco 93 as well.
That perseverance we talked about, you never give up. Even when they went back green, these guys, the crews can't give up. Looks like a problem with Steve Kinzer's nose wing. It looks like it might have fallen down off the front post on that car.
Mark Kinzer is slowing on the back straightaway. Mark Kinzer is coasting down the back straightaway in the Mopar 5M.
Okay.
And he's got his hand out. Now, what is this all about? He seems to be...
Well, he seemed comfortable. He has his hand up on the cowling there, like he's just riding around there waiting to...
Is he waiting for the rest of the field? He should be all the way around in second. But Carl, his father and crew chief, looking a little uncertain of what's
Okay, that's what happened.
place.
Mark, when that green and yellow confusion, Mark got around him and was in front and didn't get out of the gas. So now he's way up front. He's waiting for the pack to come up and catch up to him.
Okay, so Mark should slide into second behind Donnie Schatz. Then Craig Delansky and Danny Lisowski, Johnny Herrera in 5th, Brian Paulus, and the rest of the field. And Dale Blaney moves back into the pit area. Now remember that Steve Kinzer and Jeff Shepard are not even down a lap yet. They're still on the lead lap.
Right,
So even on the hunt here.
Yeah, even though the green came out and yellow came, they didn't get a lap complete. And yeah, there is a problem with Steve Kinzer's nose wing. It's laying down on the hood as we see him working on Dale Blaney's car. Right there.
It is. Now what's that going to do to the handling of the car?
Well, It's not going to be very good, but at this point, he doesn't care. He's just back out there. He's got a chance, and that's the main thing. There could possibly be another red where they can work on the car, but the angle is, it doesn't look like it's better at the angle it is now than if the front's tipped up, so maybe it won't affect him too much.
If it was tipped up, it would give him more lift on that front, correct?
Yeah, if it was tipped up toward the front, the air gets under it and wants to pull the front wheels off the ground. But I was looking there, they've got the old strap still on there from the crash were bent. There's 2 struts sticking straight out the front of the car and 2 other ones where they put the spare wing on. They just left the old struts right on there. Daniel Lasowski changed the gear on that last red too. Probably went to a lower gear to give him a better shot off the bottom, and there it seems to be working.
He gets inside of Craig Delansky as you go on board the Advanced Auto Parts camera with Lasowski working the bottom. Schatz leads. Mark Kinzer runs in second. Lasowski is third. Delansky is fourth, and Johnny Herrera comes along in fifth.
Saw that inboard on Lasowski's car. Mark hit a big bump, took a big bounce, bounced up in the middle of the racetrack, up in front of Danny. Lasowski on the top.
He's won 72 races at this racetrack, 7 track championships, and 1 Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Lasowski knows this half mile.
See how fine that line is on the bottom, that brown dirt on the bottom. That's the bottom of the racetrack.
Here's the fight between Johnny Herrera and that newly painted 20, that yellow car, getting inside of Craig Delansky. A lot of people's dark horse pick in that red 7 to win this event.
So that puts Herrera up to 4th. Good run for him, but Delansky comes back on the bottom.
One Thursday night, and look at Delansky taking the position away from Herrera for a few seconds as he slide jobs him in 3.
But when you slide up across that racetrack as high as this cushion is, you lose so much speed sliding up, waiting to get on that cushion. Herrera was able to get a good bite off the corner and drove back by.
And just behind those 2 is Sammy Swindell as you go back on board, running on the bottom of the racetrack with Lasowski trying to chase down. No, that's actually Herrera's on board now. Working to the high side.
Boy, again, you can see the shiny. That's the black, really slippery stuff. A driver has to really be careful. You got to back pedal or ease on the gas, do that stuff. Or when you get under that moisture, that heavy brown dirt, you really have to mash the throttle.
Joey Saldana on the bottom of the white 17, battling with Brian Paulus. And that brightly colored number 28 out of Pennsylvania, they call it the lettuce car. It's actually painted to look like a bunch of lettuce. It even has croutons and bacon bits worked into the paint scheme as he fights with him. And that 17, they're fighting it out for 10th right now. Meanwhile, Donnie Schatz, the Parker store number 15. What an amazing story. He has not had a great season by any stretch of imagination. Hasn't won a thing.
And his confidence level, you're right, is way down because of not winning a thing.
Fight for 3rd, and Herrera in the yellow 20 comes inside of Lasowski. Lasowski comes battling back. Early on in the season, Lasowski was the points leader in the Outlaws. And now he's trying to win his 2nd Amoco Knoxville Nationals. Herrera's found victory lane this year, and he's trying to get another one here.
Boy, looking at this inboard, though, Danny is really...
Big flip in turn number 1. Paul McMahon destroys the race car in turn 1. But you can see him moving, Brad. But he absolutely destroys the U2.
There's another good look at how slick and shiny that racetrack is, and that might be what happened to Paul McMahon. He got a little slick and a little bit loose, and got in the wall there and tore it up.
Paul McMahon has absolutely, he is out of the car.
Look how shaky he is, though. I'm telling you, you don't take a ride like that. I don't care who you are. We saw Steve Kinzer get out a little shaky and a little wobbly, too. That's just a hard, ground-pounding hit.
What goes through your mind as you're going through one of these rides?
Well, usually it happens so fast, but the initial, if it's initial hit in the wall like it looked like Paul was, I mean, it literally knocks you silly, and you're really not aware of what's going on. But, I mean, it literally hurts your insides, your intestines and things. I mean, it's such a jolt and such a sudden stop that every bone, every muscle in your body aches at this point.
There's Paul's wife in the black pants. She wants to go check on her husband. He tells her he's okay.
Yeah, typical sprint car driver. I'm seeing 2 or 3 of you, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, your wife went through many moments like this. How tough is it on the wives as well?
Well, it's got to be tough. It's tougher on them. I mean, it's almost routine in a sprint car to ride some of these flips out and go through some of this stuff. We talked about Steve Kinser in this crash. I mean, he actually got to a point he got mad. He wanted to get back out there. And all you think about is getting back out and competing. And maybe we're a selfish bunch, you know. We're just out here trying to make a living in a race car. There's a boy that tore that race car up. But you're right, the wives are the ones that sit back there and bite their nails. There's not a thing they can do but watch.
But you also saw how calm, cool, and collected Dana Kinser was as well. Makes you wonder sometimes who's tougher, Dana or Steve.
She's been around a long time, too.
So is Paul McMahon's wife. And Paul is going to make it to race another day. We're coming back to Knoxville.
The biggest news in motor oil since motor oil.
Let me show you something that really surprised me. Look what happened to the other leading motor oils after a 128-hour test designed to simulate severe driving conditions. But this is newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base after the same test. I'm no mechanic, but I know which one I'd rather put in my car. These, I don't even know what I'd do with these.
For protection so strong you can see the difference, get newly formulated Pennzoil with Pure Base.
Briefcase.
Need new tires? Our 70,000-mile Futuras are 4 for $169. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
Hey, Tim. Does this look like a hex nut to you?
Need expert advice? All-wheel alignment now just $34.88. Pep Boys, one more reason cars like us, people love us.
TNN Action Wednesdays are hotter than ever on the Magnificent Seven.
Is that little Billy Travis?
Mary's son comes home. Then on 18 Wheels of Justice.
You're driving us out of here.
Agent Baxter is in trouble.
And on Dead Man's Gun.
Name's Boucher.
He has to pay for what he's done.
The action starts at 8 Eastern with the Magnificent Seven, followed by 18 Wheels of Justice at 9 and Dead Man's Gun at 10. Only on TNN Action Wednesdays. One hot night.
Well, the land rush is on. When a red flag happens, the teams pull into the work area, which is what you can see from our Circuit City aerial platform and what would be a pit area at most racetracks. Once the cars come to a stop, there's a hold down period while they wait to make sure the accident scene is safe and the drivers are okay. At that time, they open the red, as they call it, and the crews can rush Brad to their cars and start service.
With jacks in hands and tools flying, and they all line up waiting to get going, and it's a foot race to the race car to see who can get there and get working first.
Siping tires for shots. There's Donnie's dad standing behind him, working on the gas, putting more methanol in there. Dave?
Well, here with Donnie Schatz, he's a determined guy, got that game face on. Are you concerned at all with running into that traffic?
Well, I'm not so much concerned about the traffic. You give Carl Kinser enough reds, and he's going to get his car a little better there. I guess we're really good. I'm just doing the best I can here. Hopefully it's good enough for another 16 laps, and we'll get ourselves that first win here.
Feel a little better knowing you got Kenny Woodruff right now?
Well, it gives me all the confidence in the world here. This race car is absolutely awesome. I think anybody could drive this thing, just making me look good.
Oh, he's pretty coy with that, but he's doing a great job, guys.
There's the legend right there. Kenny Woodruff with the flashlight in his hand, checking to make sure how much is in there. Now, he doesn't want to put too much in there because that'll change the weight balance of the car.
Yeah, they're just putting enough in there to think they can go 16 laps and have to guess at how many yellows are going to be. But what a story this would be. Kenny's basically been setting out most of this summer, and to come back to basically the first weekend or second weekend with this team, maybe win the Knoxville Nationals.
Kenny's not the kind of guy that rushes into anything. He picks the drivers he wants to work with, and he thinks Donnie Schatz can be a big winner. Bobby Gerald?
Well, let's check in now with Johnny Herrera, who drives the 20. He is up to third position. And, Johnny, you have as much track experience as anybody here, a former track champion. How's your ride going so far?
Well, so far so good. You know, we got a good start there, and we just kind of been picking them away, and just hopefully we can make the right changes here and keep the car with us for the next 15 laps.
What'd you tell your crew guys to do here? What kind of changes are you making?
We're just keeping the tires siped up, putting some fuel in the thing, getting some the weight back on the rear of the car, and hopefully that's the right choices.
You've had a good chance to watch Carl and Mark up there, the 5M, and Donnie Schatz. Do you think you have something for him?
Well, I think I do. I mean, I think I have something for Mark. I'm not so sure Donnie. He's got a pretty good lead, but you know, you never know what can happen.
All right, Johnny Herrera, Hollywood Herrera, with a special paint job that he will keep on this car for the rest of the TV shows this year. Dave Argabright.
Well, here with Steve Kinzer. He's still pretty sore about that push-off incident, but about the race car, Steve, can they bring this thing back? How badly has it been?
No, I'm pretty sore they pushed the 4J car off, don't push me off. And then they come in, and the guys come out and work on Sammy's car. Nobody's allowed to the cars until the pits are open. They come out to his car. He should be disqualified. Now they give him his spot back. If it happened to any of us, we would have been to the tail. They're going to have to get their officiating straight.
How about the race car? It is bent. They're still thrashing on it.
Up, and we're just going to go out there and do what we can do. The right's right and wrong's wrong.
Well, he's pretty intense right now, but they are thrashing on this race car, guys.
Well, Brad, you've raced against Steve, and you know how intense he is, and you've also been in his situation where you think things are not going your way necessarily, and there's a lot of emotion involved in there. Now, how does he bottle all that up and focus on
One thing you don't want to do is make Steve Kinzer mad. I've seen him about tear that steering wheel off. You know, he gets so mad, but he's got a wounded race car right now and a long way to go, but he's fired up right now, so you can't count him out.
Absolutely, and he can make up for some of the problems with that race car just with determination. Bobby?
Mark Kinzer, the two-time champion. Carl Kinzer, of course, tunes the car, talking with Mark right now. Carl's won 13 of these championships, and you got to be happy you got your dad working on this race car right now, Mark.
Yeah, we might be able to come up with something here on this red flag area. You know, we got plenty of horsepower under the hood. Having a little trouble entering 1 right now. It's about our only dead spot on the racetrack. We're not too bad through 3 and 4, so we can pick up a little bit through 1. I think we might be able to give Shot something, but he's setting a pretty good pace.
This race has some similarities, though, to last year. It was a lap 17 red flag, and then you guys tuned it up and were able to take advantage of Lasowski.
You know, that's correct. You know, this year it's kind of flopped around. Now Donnie Schott's got Kenny Woodruff in his pit area, so maybe the old Titans will duel it out tonight.
All right, Mark Kinzer ready to go. Ralph?
I like the calm coolness of Mark Kinzer these days as you watch them fixing the fence over there in turn 1 where Paul McMahon got up into the fence, which is why we were under this red flag situation. Brad, we're seeing a different Mark Kinzer as we move on through the years. Mark used to be where Donnie Schatz was for so many years. We looked at young Mark Kinzer over there. Now he truly is earning himself a position as one of the veterans and the proven winners of this series. Two-time champ, two-time Nationals champ.
Proven winner, that's the key right there, that you gain a certain amount of confidence and calmness when you've already won some of these big races.
Dave Argabright, what do you have for us?
Well, you speak of calm. Jack Hoddenchild's just relaxed and smiling. And now, Jack, you've moved up to 14th. Do all these breaks here, these reds and yellows, is that helping you?
Well, it is. We haven't got up there through there far enough early in the race, so we're changing the car around a little bit, and I think we're going to be a lot better now. I think we'll be able to get up through there.
What's going to be the fast way around this racetrack the next 15 laps?
Well, I think right now the cushion's pretty fast, but Mental's got some stuff in it, so you can run pretty much all over the track right now.
He just smiles and relaxes. Bobby Gerald?
Craig Delansky a little more serious right now. And Craig, so far, how's the race been for you? A lot of wild stuff going on.
Yeah, well, we struggled a little bit with our race car after that red flag there, and we made some changes now, so hopefully we're a little bit better and we can get back up where we need to be there.
Your crew chief, Scott Bennick, no stranger here. We've talked a lot about Carl Kinzer and different guys, but Scott's got 7 top 5s here at the Knoxville Nationals in a couple of seconds, so that's pretty reassuring for you.
Yeah, you know, Scott Bennick's been working with Scott Moodger and Brian Sunby here and myself, and, you know, we're all working together at this, and, you know, like I say, hopefully we can get this Maxim car in the winner's circle.
All right, as good as the top is, Ralph, with Donnie Schatz, you have to think that Delansky's going to be coming.
You have to, Bobby, and right now as we look at the top 4, it's Schatz, Mark Kinzer, Herrera, and Lasowski. The way I figure it, Brad, that's Goodyear, Hoosier. So maybe those tires they flew in here might be making the difference. We'll find out coming back to Knoxville.
Sir, may I take your car? I need your keys so I can drive your car.
He was all wrong for you. That guy was a freak.
Hi, do you have any mozzarella?
Sorry, we're all out.
Give me a pound of mozzarella.
How about some nice provolone?
Where's all the mozzarella? Well, Dave Thomas put it on Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme.
Now we're all out of mozzarella.
2 slices of mozzarella, a plump, juicy whole chicken breast fillet topped with a delicious Parmesan sauce. It's a mouth-watering combination.
Dave, Frankie's coming. Dave?
Come in and try Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme today. And remember, Wendy's pickup windows open late, so you can eat great.
Thanks for stopping.
Even late.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
When you're a big-time racer, it's just fame, fortune, and beautiful women. A pretty cool package. Just like a new Luxair air conditioning system for your home with high-efficiency performance to slash your operating costs up to 40%, plus complete reliability, no matter how hot it gets outside. Okay, it's not fame, fortune, and beautiful women, but it is pretty cool, huh? Find your Luxair dealer fast at 1-800-LUXAIRE. 1-800-LUXAIR.
We're back at a beautiful night at the Amoco Knoxville Nationals in Iowa. And as they say in Hollywood, take 3 on the A feature. We've had 2 red flags for crashes. And I can tell you, on the same lap McMahon crashed, I saw our leader right up here just about lose it right up against the wall of the back straightaway. He's got to have to be careful, that Donnie Schatz. Bobby Gerald?
That's what happens when you ride the rim there. It can bite you. Here's Danny Schatz, Donnie's dad. You were responsible, were you not, for bringing Kenny Woodruff over to the team?
Well, Don and I talked about hiring Kenny for the last couple of months, and Kenny had some things to do. Yes, we collectively decided we wanted to put a good crew chief in charge. You know, about the only thing I can say is Carl Kinzer is an ideal crew chief, and we wanted to hire somebody as capable as him, and we think we did. And we're very satisfied that we've made the decision to use Kenny.
And Dave Argobright, believe it or not, this race isn't even half over.
Well, there's still a lot of racing left. You're right, Bobby. Just talked to Mark Ellis, Danny Lasoski's crew chief. Said they made a gear change. I asked him which way. He just smiled and said, well, we think the bottom's going to be the place to be. Brad? Ralph?
Well, he probably went to a little bit lower gear if he plans on running the bottom, because it's a shorter way around the racetrack, a little more moisture. And also that lower gear helps slow the car down as he gets out of the throttle, getting into the corner. So I would suspect they went to a lower gear ratio.
We heard how upset Steve Kinzer was about the potential work that was done on Sammy Swindell's car. Bobby Jackson, the competition director for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, has told us that no work was done on the car. It did look like, and this is probably what Steve saw, some of Sammy's crew members were going to work on the car, and Bobby Jackson says the Outlaw officials stopped them and that no work was done on the car. Steve might not have seen that. He might just have seen the crew guys go towards the car.
Yeah, and from his angle, maybe just thought they were working on. That was a good shot of Sammy's new roll cage there, similar to Danny Lasoski's that they had in Florida. And the reasons for that, they think they can get more sheet metal surface. The Outlaws made him and Danny Lasoski cut some of that down.
Well, a lot of it is